On this episode, my good friend Landon and I, hey, I don't think you have to stand on the box.
Dude, I do need to stand on the box. I'm bringing authenticity to the character.
Celebrate Charles Barkley's birthday by discussing the most influential players in the NBA not named Jordan, LeBron, or Sir Charles. Are you sure you want to stand on the box? You can't even see your head.
I am sure. Dirk was taller than Barkley, so deal with it.
Because influence comes in more forms than just winning.
Like Dirk's signature big man fadeaway, helping to pave the way for European players and sticking with the same team for 21 years. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Yes, all the things that can't be established with stats. We also talk about life the way friends do when they get together.
Some people just call that good communication skills.
Let's jump in. Paper.
It's like a bulletproof vest right now.
Yeah. This is my favorite Rockets jersey, though.
Why?
Just the color scheme and the way they did the Rocket and just the way the letters are. Like, I like the old school, like yellow, like the Houston, stuff like that. Like the new, all the new shit, I fucking hate. I haven't liked a Rockets uniform in a hot minute, but they went back to this like a little bit differently now.
Do you buy a new one every year? Will you get a new Rockets jersey like every season or like when the uniform changes or something like that?
I mean, used to it was bad. Like, I mean, you know, like you could,
It was over the top.
I probably had 200 something jerseys.
Whoa. That's a lot of jerseys.
It's a lot of jerseys. So I started selling them off, right?
Yeah.
But now what I buy is when I see I'm like, oh man, I really like the design of that. Who's my favorite player on that team? And I'm getting that as like an article, a different type of clothing. Does that make sense? Like, as an example, have you seen the Miami jerseys where it looks like ransom notes? Like ransom letters?
The only one I can think of is kind of like it's like, no, I don't think so.
So there's
I think I would remember it.
So it's all black. And then the Miami is in like ransom letters. And then the numbers on the back are like two different fucking numbers. I can show it to you. It looks like a ransom note. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I really like Jimmy Butler. And so.
Come on.
But I mean, you know, so here's the part about guys that are newer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you're going to have a harder time selling me because they haven't been in the NBA. What is their influence?
Right.
Why in such a short period of time does this guy get so much clout?
Sure.
Now, I'm not going to knock you too much on Jimmy Butler, but also I would kind of say like Jimmy Butler really hasn't come into being Jimmy Butler roughly until he got to Miami. Like before that, I mean, he's just a dog.
Yeah.
Right. But he had to become a leader. And that's where like my whole thing about him like really changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, and the fact that he's played basketball in Tomball, Texas. A lot of people that might experience the same thing as him.
Well,
you know
said it, man. You're like, he's a dog. He just had to dog his way and claw his way all the way.
Did you see where he did like the fake hair? Like
I did. It was like had kind of like a
like Milli Vanilli type vibe going.
Dude.
What was that about?
How many people listen to this know Milli Vanilli? Some.
Based on
I don't even care.
Hey, based on the statistics, I mean, it's a good chance that they know. You know what I mean? Well, it's possible that they know.
So what I heard about Milli Vanilli was like, let's just put together some good looking dudes and just make a band out of these models, basically.
Yeah.
And let's obviously they become a ripoff, right? But I like it.
Well, look,
I'm not saying I like the music at all.
You don't like the music?
I mean, I'll listen to it. It's more of a nostalgia thing for me.
Girl, you know it's true. I mean, come on.
Well, blame it on the rain, bro.
Yeah, classics.
Yeah,
total classics.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through the no list and make sure that we got this.
This is the list of like we're not talking about the obvious list. Or
This is like the automatic list. We're taking them off because it's obvious that they have influence in the NBA.
Everybody thinks they should be on this list.
I mean, not everybody, but a pretty good chunk.
We don't have to defend why they're on there.
Yeah, there's not much defense. It's pretty understood that these guys would have had influence in the NBA. It's like you could. I mean, I think I've said this before. You could easily say that there is no Kobe Bryant without Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
Right. So like there's no denying, but then there's no denying Kobe's influence on players now in that way, just a whole different generation. You know what I mean?
Sure. You think there's no LeBron without MJ?
I think there's no LeBron without Magic. Even though I think, I know that I think, well, let me say this. I think everybody of that generation wanted to be Michael Jordan.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you were Muggsy Bogues or not Muggsy Bogues, but like if you were Sean Bradley or Muggsy Bogues or you were real tall, everybody thought of being Michael Jordan. And so LeBron James did a really great job of realizing he wasn't Michael Jordan in that way. And how could he be the best basketball player and became a great basketball player by being the person that does what he does?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? God, now I forgot that guy's name. Oh, shit, I'll think of it. All right, so I'm going to say automatic list, and you tell me if I need to, add anybody on.
All right.
Okay. Also, okay, we'll discuss this in a second. Okay, so Jordan.
On.
Bird.
On.
Magic.
Yep.
LeBron.
Yep.
Steph.
Yep.
Kareem.
Yep.
Wilt.
Yep.
Bill Russell.
Yep.
Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
Dr. J.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we're gonna put him on this list, but I want to
say Dirk.
That's what I'm getting at. Just
okay, sorry.
Settle down.
Damn, man. I told you, Mavs fan, man.
We're not gonna take Dirk off the list, but I'll tell you the reason I put him on the list is because I knew that you would put him on the list.
He may not be on everybody's list.
Yeah, but I want to hear why he's automatically on the list for you.
Now?
Right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I think so. I had just never seen a big man play the way. So, first of all,
Fair.
He's a Dallas guy, and he was a Dallas guy his whole career.
That's also very
really rare.
Rare now.
Really rare to do that. Yeah, now. But he was. I don't know if you remember this, but there was talk of him, he and Kobe were friends, right? There was talk of Kobe coming to Dallas or Dirk, they would call each other all the time. And I'm like, man, that's a hard combo to beat, right? Dirk and Kobe on the floor at the same time. To me, and there's combos like this now. I just never seen a guy play like Dirk. Drive the lane. He could for 7 foot to shoot the way he did, to drive the way he. Now listen, Dirk's dunking skills. Obviously, he could dunk. He ain't in dunk contests. He's not showing. There's no swag.
But
right?
he ain't a dunk. Hey, besides his wife is full swag.
I don't know much about his wife.
After the podcast,
I should look her up.
Yeah,
just to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just fadeaways, how he played. He had some attitude to him, and I don't like an asshole player, but I like somebody who's going to be competitive, but not rubbing in other people's face. I'm playing a great game, and I'm gonna get pumped up because how good I'm playing. Not in your face though.
You feel like Jordan was in people's faces?
Yeah. I do, but not in a way
somehow
that
it was okay.
Not in a way that Pat Beverly's in your face.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Not annoyingly in your face. Not make me want to turn off the TV. Damn, he's in his face. He's earned the right to be in that guy's face.
Pat Beverly's down your throat, dog. He ain't in your face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's not in your face. He's yeah, exactly. Man, and I think he just set the I think he's the reason, or one of the main reasons, that 7-footers are shooting threes all the time now.
I think, to hear you say it out loud, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think Dirk was one of the first people to do what he did, but I think that is a pretty big that is a component of most European players. They play full round of basketball. They play a more complete form of basketball. You know,
you mean they're not specialists?
Well, but I mean, you know, it's like one of those things. Like, God,
answer it, dude.
no, it's like it's McCade, Texas, which means it's total spam.
It's nobody.
Yeah, it's spam. And I meant to like turn that off. I apologize.
So when spam calls come in, do you think those spam callers know that the caller ID says spam? Who's answering that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
But I also like I get this whole like scenario where there's these like two old people like sitting watching like Price is Right or something, and the phone starts ringing and she's like, Henry, it's Spam Blackley again. Will you tell this bitch to stop calling the house? You know what I mean? Like somebody actually thinks that's their name or whatever.
Well, but like, and here's my question. So, and Apple's probably been on this for 20 years, but why can we not filter spam calls like we can filter emails? Can you just put this over here in this area that I'm never going to check?
There's probably like regulations to that shit.
I don't know. Anyway, just a thought. Like, I don't know if there's an answer there, and I don't need one. I'm just like, we're here. Why can you not flag a text message to unread?
I don't know, but like I am all in on that one.
Like you can do that with an email. Like or just
be able to mark it so I remember to go back.
I want to flag it somehow.
Yeah, some of it. So my only option is to leave it unread, right? But then it just scrolls down so far that I forget about it.
You forget about it.
And then I'm like, God damn,
like, why is that not an option?
Why do I have 2 notifications, but when I pull up my text message, I don't have any notifications? Maybe it's because it's at the bottom of my text message thread.
Somebody's going to comment on this podcast and be like, here's how you do that.
Hey, knock yourself out.
If they do,
write it in the comments. I won't have any problem with that. If you know how to fix that shit.
I'll give you my number. Text me how to do that.
I'm asking for a friend.
Right. Yeah.
So Dirk is definitely on the list. Okay. So do we need to move? Is there anything we need to move that we pre-discussed?
Most of my current list is going to be within the last 20 years.
I think that's okay.
Like the older guys, like the 70s and 80s guys, like I wasn't watching NBA basketball in the mid 80s when I was 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yes, like I have thought about this as well. I tried to put some older, like look at some older careers and think of some older things, but like, you know,
I may not understand.
There's a lot of motherfuckers that played in the NBA.
Right.
Okay. So like,
they're all probably good. Like, how do you get there?
I came up with my last one.
Put it down. Yeah. But like, listen, all professional sports are the top 1% of college, right? Is that a and listen, I don't know if it's 1%, but the very top tier of college sports. Yes. So theoretically, anybody that's there is really good at basketball or baseball or football or whatever. They're anywhere they go in the world, they're playing a pickup game. They're the best player on the court.
So
outside of the NBA courts that they play on.
Having friends that play G League basketball, I'm telling you, if you think you can play basketball, go play against like those fuckers. Like, I mean,
that's G League.
And that's G League. And that's no knock against them. It's just like
there's players better than them.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend that played in the NBA and played in the G League and has played overseas, right? Dude, but you still have to keep a career.
There was a guy
I thought of another one.
There was a guy at the gym years ago, played at Wake Forest. Okay. Like, that's a good basketball school. You're going there, you get a scholarship to play basketball at Wake Forest, like you're good. I watched this dude play basketball, and I mean, like, he never made it to the NBA. I don't know what he does now. He didn't miss shots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not missing a shot from anywhere on the court, 3-point line, free throw line, whatever. Like, how did you not make it? That just right there told me, like, whoa, dude. Yeah. Like, these guys are just, I can't even comprehend that level of greatness.
And I think what's so crazy for me is, like, for them, it's so easy. And I mean, it's so easy at the level that they're at that it's just their job. So it's just like it's no different than you doing CrossFit all day. Like that's how efficient they are at their job and being good at it. You know,
I can't remember what sport we were watching, but it was probably basketball or whatever because there hasn't been any real sports on. Listen, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. There hasn't been any sports on that I've been interested in watching since.
What are these real sports that you will not watch?
Real sports that I don't watch?
Yeah, like
I don't watch baseball on TV, man. Like if I'm like,
I'll go to a game.
I'll go to a game for sure because it's the experience is fun, right?
But like watching that shit on TV,
I want to be the guy hollowing out the hot dog, drinking the beer, the hot dog straw.
That was pretty.
You
baller.
remember that?
Yeah,
it was like a month ago.
I just don't know how that's gonna take. Like,
it's not gonna be good at all. It's gonna be terrible.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, you committing to that.
Well, don't you use a straw to make the hot dog straw?
I think you hollow it out.
You had a
with
straw already. What the fuck?
Yeah, you
now you're just trying to be like
you're trying to be Insta famous, dude.
Fancy.
Straight up. But we're watching a sport. Let's say it was basketball. And she's like, how are these guys doing this? And I'm like, imagine like you are involved in fitness. You've been involved in fitness for like 2006. I'm telling Adrian, these guys are 30 and they've been probably playing basketball since they were 2 or 3. At least dribbling, whatever.
I mean, Tim Duncan didn't.
Yeah. Like, but I also think that, man, I don't want to get in trouble saying anything. But like, if you're really tall, you're at an advantage. So, do you remember a guy named Greg Ostertag?
Hang on a second. As a kid, I've been this height since I was in 6th grade.
You were a giant in 6th grade.
Yes.
Were you the tallest kid in 6th grade?
Oh yeah, for sure, by far. Right.
How tall were you in 6th grade?
6'3". I was already 6'3". And let me tell you something.
You were the best basketball player on the court.
No, I was the worst basketball player on the court. I was like a baby giraffe, like out of the womb, like
learning to
never
walk.
Played basketball before. I wasn't coordinated. So where like, yeah, I was really tall.
But you could just reach higher than everybody else, really.
I mean, I was great on defense, right? I mean, defensively.
But you weren't bringing the ball up the court and running the offense.
No. I bet some people are like, is he trying to miss? Like, is he trying to miss
he's
the
being
basket?
bad on purpose because he's so much taller than everybody. He feels bad for these other kids.
He's definitely influenced by Dennis Rodman. Definitely that is his biggest influence is Dennis Rodman.
Well, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But anyways, Adrian was like,
oh, the eliteness about it.
How good the professional players are. Like it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So is this the list we're going with?
I think that's the list that we should for now. Like we make.
I'm going to try to, I'm going to be as efficient about this as possible.
There's probably one more on this list that we could say is kind of in the dirt category. Everybody may not agree.
But I mean, we're also welcome to shift people over to the automatic list if we come up with some better options.
Reserve the right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be fine. All right. So you want to go first? You want me to go first? And I think what we should do is,
like, I'm
going to go in my order. So, like, this will be a real easy one. We'll start with this one because I know we've already kind of talked about this. So, Iverson.
Yep.
We both agree on that, right? So, just really quickly, we'll go over why. You can go over why you think, and we'll discuss it real quick. And then if we get to one that is not on your list, right, then we'll go into, like, I'm going to say why. You obviously, hopefully, you would want to know and people want to know why I think that way. And we'll go into that shtick. Or if you have one on your list, I'll do the same thing to you. Fair?
Yep.
Okay. So Iverson, you can, if you want to, you can go first.
Go for it. Yeah.
Look, my deal with Allen Iverson is, there is no Kobe Bryant. There is no Allen Iverson without Michael Jordan. And Allen Iverson took that shit to another level of like, no, I'm going to be the only person that has the ball. Like when Michael Jordan first got to Chicago, his first coach, that was the whole game plan, was just to give the ball to Michael Jordan, right? And I think when Phil Jackson got there, it was like a tough transition because he was used to it, but then he bought him, whatever.
Right.
But Allen Iverson was that. And then, just how he shaped fashion, in the NBA and just shaped culture in the NBA. I mean, it's iconic. It's it's.
I never saw cornrows before Iverson in the
And
NBA.
I don't think that was a thing. I don't think that was a thing before.
It's one of my favorite hairstyles out there.
I mean, there's a beauty shop down the street that does like braids and stuff. And I ordered some stuff on Wish, and it's a Wish drop off station or whatever. And so like I go and knock on the door and open the door, and there's a black lady, and she's doing like a braid, and like there's a black lady away, and I was just like, hi, I'm here to pick up like a package. And my hair was long at this point. And she goes, here, and I go, like if I want to get my hair braided, like you do that? She's like, yeah. And I was like, I have a business card. She's like, yeah. So I took one, but I didn't go do it because I have this fear that's like really hurt, like really bad, like really tight on your skull.
So I think it has to be, right?
Right. I would think. And my hair being like so thick and now getting gray, it's like just thick and coarse. You know what I mean?
It might hurt even worse.
Yeah, I would think.
Pull even harder.
Or like it won't even stay in as much, I would think.
So I've done a one single braid like for some competitions back in the day because like, you know, when you're running, jumping, doing all this crap, like this would like bounce out, and you don't want to be. It was the easiest way to contain it, right? Yeah. But I also was like, man,
looks cool.
There's some cool points here too.
Yeah, I mean,
and it would go all the way down, and it wasn't as long as it is now, but it was enough. So, but mine did not hurt at all. But I also don't have like really thick hair.
How long are you going to keep this hairstyle?
I didn't have this hairstyle last time I was here. It was a full head of hair
underneath.
Yeah, everywhere.
Oh, you cut the
underneath. You mean like? Did you mean underneath like old '90s like Skate or Die, where it was undercut? No, it was everywhere. It was all one big.
You grew it out, and then you recently cut it.
That was the second time.
You recently cut it into this.
Recently being, I think we were here in like October of last year. I don't know. Remember when it was?
I just feel like that you always had some level of undercut under your hair.
Not last time I was here.
Okay.
So I did have it. I grew it out.
Yeah.
Cut the actually just cut the top end, then grew. So I only had like the top knot version, right? Where it was like the top of your head was the hair and everything else. And then I was like, no, this is stupid. I want the mohawk.
I like it.
So I had to grow that part out by itself from scalp.
Yeah.
And it was a V. So the back of my head looked like a for like 6 months.
It's just because it's way short.
An unkept version of that.
Because it's just way.
It's just much. It wouldn't
so much shorter.
It wouldn't go. And then I started wearing like most of the time I'm more of like a top knot type, whatever. Not in the back because again it just falls out or whatever. But then I had to like start lowering it to add in pieces of this. So
because it's growing out.
Well, the back of the head would smaller and smaller and smaller until all of it could fit in there. Well, then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm done with this hairstyle. Cut it all off, went short, and that lasted for like 3 months. I was like, this is dumb. I'm gonna grow it all back out again. And just like 6 months ago is when I cut this douchey thing back into my hair.
I'm gonna grow my hair out one more time, and then I'm cutting it off. I'm done.
What are you gonna do? Why are you gonna be done?
Because I just don't. You
need a change?
I'm just over it. I'm over my hair. It's.
Then why grow it out again?
Because I'm gonna cut it off for like locks for kids or whatever. I'm gonna do one of those.
Right.
And I just while it's long, I'm just gonna do it one more time. Like because I had it like
you need that.
It was like the middle of my back, bro. Like it was.
Yeah.
It was long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like roughly at my shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Right now, it's probably the longest it's ever been, but it like half of my hair is gone. This is only like half of it. Like all the two sides that are gone is whatever. So,
I mean, do you just at any point do you see yourself with like a regular ass haircut?
I thought I did a couple of years ago when I grew it out, but like I don't know, like.
And I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I was just curious. Like, I mean, Mr. T's still rolling around his shit. What is he, 70?
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Hulk Hogan, though, like, he has to be bald as shit all up top, right? That's why he wears the bandana. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know, man. So I just always tried to walk to a different beat. Like in high school, like I kind of played the game a little bit, but I always I just didn't want to be the same thing walking around.
Yeah.
And I think after college, I was just like, you know what? I never wanted to be just another one of the same person, one of the same people walking around. Like, I don't want to be the Abercrombie guy anymore. you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the gap kid. I didn't want, because that was what everybody was doing. And I was like, whatever, right? Like, and even now, like, it didn't even stop, man. Like 24, there was a certain, like, you couldn't be like.
I used to get in trouble all the time for wearing my hat backwards. And then it was just straight up wearing a hat. Like
Justin DePriest is not allowing this in his gym. You know what I mean? Like, he ain't. Come on, man. I love that dude to death, but like, he's a clean cut guy.
Do you know I work out at 202 almost every single day?
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see anybody in there you know? Is anybody still there?
I see people that I know from working at 24 back in the day. They didn't work there. They worked at other places, right? But like,
so you see people you know.
Yeah, but they don't remember me. They don't notice. They don't know me, I don't think. Because
Is it the same inside there?
Oh yeah.
Nothing's changed.
It's like they're holding it together with like glue and sticks.
Those spas have to be disgusting, man.
But like that's where like I'll do sauna and then I'll jump because they're the pool's a saltwater pool, right? It's not chlorine, so I'll go pool sauna. Like
do you know that all those they're closed? Most of the 24s that were there when we were there, Round Rock, Lake Creek, Palmer. That was a nice gym, man.
Yeah,
gone. Whatever.
The one down south's gone.
William Cannon gone.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because they didn't own the building.
Oh, they leased that building.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Why did you go back to why 24? Why not like Lifetime or what is that other one over there real close to it? Like
Pure?
Yeah.
No, but I think they changed that Pure into a Lifetime. I think Lifetime bought that out or whatever.
Just stay with 24.
Bro, Lifetime's like $180 a month or some kind of stupid shit.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like retarded expensive.
It's like CrossFit.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're not. Hey, that's 180.
On your own.
That's 180 in the door.
Right.
That's not. You don't get anything with that. Like I mean, that's that. I mean,
Here's what you get access to.
Like they don't even give you a coupon for the smoothie shop with that shit.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
They're like you have to pick the lock yourself to get in. Hey, it's $180, and then you have to figure out a way in. Yeah. All right. So what you say a dude.
Okay, so Iverson, we've covered him. Let me get him off this list.
Or just like put an X by him. I'll X him off to make sure that we keep up.
All right. It doesn't matter where we start. We're just gonna go through all these people.
Just go on your next one. So what's your first one on your list that we haven't named yet?
Vince Carter.
Okay, so I'm not saying that you're not. I just want to hear why you think. Okay, so and to kind of just refresh this. This is like some of the 10 most influential basketball players that are not Charles Barkley. But what I mean by that is, obvious ideas of people that had influence on NBA like Jordan and stuff like that. We can all name those. We're trying to find people that maybe were more of a niche influence.
Yeah.
Iverson is a pretty big one. There's some other ones on the list that are pretty big ones that we kind of just both agree on that we were going to leave it on our list. But Vince Carter is not on my list. So why do you think? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you say dunking, like dunking a basketball,
Tim Duncan?
No, dunking a basketball. You've heard of a guy named Dominique Wilkins, right? You've heard of a guy named Sean Kemp.
For sure.
There is no Vince Carter without Sean Kemp.
You're right. There's not, but I wasn't around when those guys were a thing like that.
Son, you were around. You probably
I was around,
attention.
but I didn't watch. I wasn't watching bad. Like Dominique Wilkins, okay, cool. I just. And this may be kind of
You know what I like about that? Jordan played at the same fucking time, bro. So it's not like you didn't have a chance to see him, but that was Jordan's influence over basketball.
Well, and at the time too, like Sean Kemp, who did he play for? Seattle Sonics? Mm-hmm. They weren't getting the televised games. Jordan was getting the televised games.
But I mean,
there wasn't no NBA League Pass back then.
No, I mean, and basketball at that time was very regional. Because the way I watched Chicago basketball was because we had WGN.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think I would have been able to see Chicago Bulls games unless they played somebody that was.
And I definitely agree, but because here's the deal with Vince Carter: there's better shooters out there than him. There's better there's better ball handlers out there than him. And the reason I put him on my list is because I think for the era that's now, it is about how he dunked a basketball, right? And you're right. I think every player on these lists are probably there because of someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Jordan. He might have been the first one, but was Wilt dominant like Jordan was dominant? Different positions, but maybe Jordan could do it all. Wilt couldn't do it all, but like at the same time, I think Jordan's by himself. As far as he didn't have like a predecessor to come in and say Jordan is Jordan because of this guy.
I'm
like,
sure
he didn't copy anybody's game, right?
I'm sure I'm somewhere out there where Jordan's talking about his idols of who played.
He had to have some influence somewhere.
But I also think that really, like we talked about this a little bit before, really great players, like they become their own player.
Right.
Like they're not really like, we could say there really is no Kobe without Jordan, but still to an extent, Kobe had his own game. Mm-hmm. Like he had his own game in the way he played. It was just incredibly similar to Jordan's.
Right. And like even there's even interviews of those guys talking about that.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe not Jordan talking about it, but Kobe talking about like, yeah, he's definitely a big influence for me. But with Carter, like I remember all the dunk contests, like you would see people's faces like, holy shit, we've never seen anything like that. Like everybody remembers like putting your arm through the rim where he was like hanging on his elbow or whatever. But there was a couple dunks before that just like, I'd never seen these like sure, he didn't invent the windmill dunk, but the way that he was like flying through the air, and it wasn't just because he did them in the dunk contest. This is one of my big things. Like he dunked like this in the games,
and there were very few people,
and there weren't many people doing that
did it in a game.
Right. They could replicate how they dunked in a dunk contest to how they did it in a game. Maybe like I'm trying to think right now who dunks like that or who has over the past 10 years in a game, maybe the same way. Maybe somebody like this Obi Toppin guy from the Knicks or Blake Griffin flies hard.
I was thinking
or flew hard.
What's his name? That plays in New Orleans.
Zion
Williamson.
Yeah.
I mean,
like he goes hard in games for sure. The problem with him is that nobody's seen him play in 2 years. So I don't know what he's capable of.
Well, I mean, when you're carrying that much mass up in, like the same thing,
it's playing for the Saints, bro.
It's very similar. It's very similar to like Yao Ming. Like Yao Ming's problem was that his body was so massive,
so big,
his feet couldn't handle.
So big,
you know what I mean? And dude, his legs were so big, and like he was just a big human that wasn't meant to run like that. You know what I mean?
Have you ever seen anybody playing any level of basketball blow out of their tennis shoe other than Zion?
I mean, I think
they literally ripped their foot through the shoe.
We could look this up, but I'm pretty sure Tony Parker did it in a game. And I think...
Well, that kind of defeats everything.
I think Grant Hill did it in a game.
Did they?
Yeah,
and
maybe.
These aren't like... Tony Parker's certainly not a big dude. Grant Hill bigger, but neither one of them are
Nike makes shitty shoes, dog.
Right.
But we buy them, don't we?
Exactly.
We don't even question it.
You would think,
who's making these shoes? Fine. They're compensated. Sure.
Right, exactly. Like,
and then Jordan.
He broke his ankle, but he got paid for it.
All right. So. Okay, so Vince Carter.
It's water, bro.
It's the water, dude. So Vince Carter, go ahead and cross him off. Right. And we'll have our each individual list. I'm knocking out these big names first, apparently.
Go for it.
And I'm pretty sure this is on your list too. So Shaq's on your list?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I think we could easily say,
Should he be? Is he on the same list as like Dirk? Maybe is he in the same?
I think
category
there's a similarity in there of like playing basketball in a way that no one had really ever played basketball quite to that level of that way. You know what I mean? Like just a massive amount of person that he was. You know,
right? And he wasn't the big guy. Like he brought a lot of attitude to the game. You've seen the dunk where he dunks on the guy, the white dude from the Knicks, Chris Dudley, and like pushes him down. And then Dudley comes up and like fires the ball at him. Like people weren't doing that. People weren't ripping the rims down like Shaq was.
Yeah, he was breaking rims.
Right, breaking rims, breaking backboards, not just breaking them, pulling the whole goal down. Like I'm going to say, has anybody done that? But I haven't seen people do it as often as him.
Well, to your point, we could probably find this on the interwebs. I'm willing to bet because of Shaq, they changed the way they structured those basketball
the rims, right? Yeah. Like you got to I can't factoid that, but I bet it had a little bit because NBA can't afford to delay games. That's influence.
Yeah, that's influence.
That's
great
what
influence.
We're talking about, right? Yeah. He may not have just influenced you and I, but he influenced like engineers of the league, right? Like, give me a break here. That's got to be on there. Like, and like,
I want to say really quickly something about Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Also, part of Vince Carter's influence is what some people don't even know. Vince Carter like dunked basketball the way he did because his career he evolutionized with the game and changed his
the way of game.
And I think that is a really that shows like, that's how you become a long-standing basketball player, right? It's like you evolve with the game. I mean, that's how a lot of those older veteran guys stay on. Udonis Haslem hasn't played a single minute in 5 years, and they just extended his contract for another year.
Right.
And I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I mean, he's just like
he's a coach, man. He's a coach. He just wears a uniform.
He's just on the end of the bench. He's like, man, you can do this. You can do this. Hey, can you go give me a Gatorade real quick?
I think he got thrown out of a game last year. Again, we'd have to look it up, but I think
not playing a minute.
Right. No, I think he was actually on the floor. I don't know if maybe it was in the playoffs or whatever, but I want to say he got thrown out of a game last year.
Do you think that's why they sent him in?
To get to wreak havoc and just annoy people and just throw some attitude in there?
Okay, well, think about this. Okay, you got only so many timeouts. Right, you got Udonis Haslem sitting on the end of the bench. He hadn't gone up all year. He probably didn't even stretch before the game.
Go and get thrown out so we can stop the clock.
Yeah.
Like
so we can
right?
so we can
you got 6
stop
fouls,
this,
bro.
Yeah.
Let's use them.
Yeah. What are you doing?
You're still 6'10".
Why are we paying you $5 million?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna get some timeouts out of this youth this year.
All right. You wanna name one? What do you got?
Oh man, where am I at here? Okay, so.
Now, you're in charge of keeping up with the ones you've named, not named. Don't get to the end and go, I don't know which ones. You're in charge of that. I'm in charge of my list. You're in charge.
So, my next one here, Tony Kukoc.
Okay, so we chit-chat about this, but like, you're going to have to sell me a little bit on this one. I mean, I kind of get it, but like, I mean, he's also playing with Jordan and Pippen. So
he's playing with Jordan and Pippen and Phil Jackson. Which are we putting coaches on this list? Because I didn't even think about that.
Well, one of mine on my list is a coach.
Yeah,
but I'm just strictly going on his basketball career.
Okay, cool. Not his coaching career.
I mean, his coaching career, you could argue, is great as well. But like, I'm just doing just basketball.
Tony Kukoc 41 years old here. Tony Kukoc was the first European player to come over and start and what I felt like had an impact on his team. Again, you said he's playing with Jordan and Pippen. Would they have won without him? There's probably a strong case for that, right? But they also had like Luke Longley and Bill Winnington. Like, don't sell me on those guys, right? I think Tony Kukoc is the third best player on this team in his prime, right?
Yes.
To me. So, but more so than that, like, I think he kind of paved the way for like European basketball players. And maybe not just European, but maybe players outside of the NBA. And again, mind you, anybody listening to this, my knowledge probably starts around 1990. So anybody before that, I'm not saying they don't have that. That's just not my era of basketball,
this
right?
Is
30 years of what I'm going back here, roughly.
I'll defend your point a little bit. There probably were people from other countries in Europe playing before them.
For sure.
But Tony Kukoc, for me at least, was the first one that I remember that made kind of a big splash. It was a big deal. And that had a lot to do with Jerry Krause and all that.
Getting a player over here.
It was all that jazz too. And he was trying to disrupt stuff by bringing Tony Kukoc over and stuff. But it was the first time that you really go like, okay, this guy's not from the United States.
Right.
And he's really good at basketball. And now he's going to play on the Bulls. And so in that way, you could say he paved the way for European basketball players the way we know it now.
Right.
Because up to that point, I don't remember too many of them.
I don't remember him. And he was handling the ball. He was shooting the ball. He could rebound. He would play down low. Like, I don't think he probably ever made an all-star game. He might have.
I think he made two.
He might have.
Actually.
Right? If he did, great. But like,
now he has like a farm or something.
What do you mean?
I think it's like does he have an orchard or a farm or something? He's like all
like that's what he does.
Yeah, I think he's like a farmer now or something.
Wasn't he like Croatian or something?
Or something like that? Yeah,
that's where he has his farm.
I could be making that up, but I know I'm
gonna go with it. Tony Kukoc has a farm.
Well, he was on like that Bulls documentary, and they interviewed him. He was kind of like in somewhere else. And it's like I don't do anything with basketball anymore, kind of thing.
He's on there, man. He's on there for me. Like, and after him, there was like, so the guy that I can remember before Tony Kukoc, this was the only one I could come up with that was a good player, was a guy who played for the Sonics. His name was Detlef Schrempf.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
But he was kind of one of the maybe the only one that I really remember before Kukoc that was like,
Or those Rick Smiths.
Again, though.
The majority of those guys, I feel like, I could be wrong, they were just, most of them were centers, most of them really tall.
Right.
But again, it's like you said,
did they have
everybody except for me that was tall, like somehow used that skill for basketball.
They needed a skill set other than just being tall.
I got mine in junior high,
right?
though. Like, by high school, I'm like short.
Right. So
God gave it to me too early.
You peaked too early, man.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, anyways, there's kind of a probably one that no one else would put on there.
I don't think it's a bad one. I just think that it's easily someone could argue that
with as many European or I keep saying European, but with as many like foreign players in the NBA now, and if I'm thinking to myself, God, who was the first one that was good, like really good? And I don't know how many championships he won with him, but I think it probably at least 3, right?
Yeah.
Like those guys you mentioned, Rick Smiths, or like
but he was the new generation of foreign player,
and he was winning rings
that could do it all. And he probably I don't know who the most winningest. It's probably one of the Spurs guys now, maybe that's the most winningest foreign player. I don't know who that would be. Look, hey, we don't have anybody look it up.
No, we don't. Yeah. Can you look it up for us real quick, Jordan? Sorry, I don't know why I called it Jordan.
What about Rodman?
Absolutely, man.
Is he on your list?
He's on my list.
Okay, so let's just you say what you like about him real quick. I'll say what I like about him real quick, and we'll move on.
He had a major impact on the game without scoring any points.
I think that just when I think about championship basketball, for the most part, every team always has a disruptor,
right?
Someone that's just kind of there to cause chaos. On Miami, it's Udonis Haslem at the end of the bench, getting thrown out of games,
right?
And then on the Bulls and those dynasties, it was Rodman. On the Warriors now, it's Draymond Green. Like everybody has those, right? But I think he was the first. Like I feel like enforcers weren't very cool. Because it's like Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer and like everybody's
there was nothing fun about them.
No, but then Rodman came out.
They had a purpose, but like nobody was talking about them. Well, they weren't making the cover of Sports Illustrated.
The wild shit about that is like Rodman was taught by that's the guys that taught him,
right?
And he was almost like, well, like now I'm going to show you. Let me show you how this looks. Let me show you what an enforcer, what a disruptor does.
And I really like guys who kind of do things that they're not necessarily supposed to do. Like I don't know. I think he was like 6'7", 6'8", maybe 6'9".
I think he was 6'9".
But like you don't normally think of a 6'8", 6'9" guy to lead the league in like rebounds. Like multiple years in a row. At least I don't. Yeah, I'm always thinking like it's going to be a big guy like Ben Wallace, who's big and giant or whatever. And then there was parts of Rodman that were like had nothing to do with basketball that I was like, this is awesome. Like I have all these piercings and I'm tatted from head to toe. My hair's a different color every game.
Well, it speaks to like what you were saying before. You're like, I want to be different. Like I want my hair cut like this.
I want to be different, man. So, like I don't want the run of the mill clean cut. I don't care about clean cut. I shouldn't have said that. But I just like. I like standout.
Well, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a conversation starter. Like, why does, and listen, we don't have to go into the psyche of why people do all the kind of stuff that they do, but it's interesting to me.
Well, I'm always, when someone doesn't do things the way I do them, that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. Like, I have genuine curiosity of why, because what if you're doing it better than me? What if you're doing something I don't know about and like you tell me and I go, never thought of it that way. That would be a better way to do that. And if you're not, if you're like, well, I know. Well,
interesting things spark conversations, which spark questions, which sparks learning to me. It's just boom, 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 boom. Because then, if someone's not different or weird or out of the norm or whatever, I may not ask questions. I may just blow by this person without asking anything. And then I don't get a chance to learn from them. And I do think everybody has something to offer from a learning perspective, but I think something different about them, maybe it's the way they dress, maybe it's the way they shave their facial hair or their tattoo, whatever it is, like I'm going to ask questions about that. And that may be just me, but
as someone that's heavily tattooed that gets asked a lot of questions.
I thought you were just going to stop there. That gets asked.
No, that you have to,
What do they ask you? What does this mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, I've never gone through this. I could try real quick. Cliche questions that people ask heavily tattooed people. What was your first tattoo? Does it hurt? How many do you have? Where did you get them from? Who did this tattoo? Why do you have this? What's the one that's most meaningful to you? Like,
did the Prince Albert hurt?
Yeah, or whatever, right?
You're right.
I mean, it's like, do you have any pierce? It's like, and so in a weird way, it's like I didn't get tattoos for everybody else. I got them for me, and I didn't get them to be asked a bunch of questions either. And if you're listening to this, you feel more. I'll answer any question that anybody asks me, by the way, right? But like,
you didn't get them to stand out.
I didn't get it to stand out, but it does. It does. Like I have to. You have to. You see a peacock. And it's colorful, it stands out. And so that sparks questions. So if someone like you is curious and they ask, like I have to keep that mindset of like, they're coming to me because on some level, they think I know what I'm talking about because I'm heavily tattooed.
Sure.
So they just want to know. So, try to be, even though it's like the 15,000th time you've answered the question, act like it's the first time and be genuinely giving about your answer.
So back to the whole point of what we're doing here, there's influence there.
Right.
There's influence there. Maybe that person's thinking about getting a tattoo. I've asked you a couple of times, who's your tattoo artist?
No, I mean, no.
Right?
And like,
but that's because when I see it, I'm like, man, these look good. Like, I don't want like, so here's my deal with tattoos. Like, people are always a little surprised that I don't have tattoos.
I could see that.
Have anymore. And because they're just like, I just feel like that's something you would do.
Right.
Like, I think that, because I don't walk around look like a choir boy or whatever. I don't know if is that okay to say? I don't mean that disrespectful at all.
Hey, you know what? Here's the minimum. You're aware that it could possibly be offensive. And so you're like, hey, I'm not trying to be offensive.
I'm not trying to be offensive.
I think that's the best thing you can do. If you say something
clean cut,
whatever.
Clean cut. Like you were saying before, do you ever think you'll have a clean cut haircut? Maybe I'll just lose all my hair and then shave it off. I don't know. Whatever.
I just had a nightmare like recently, like because I dress the way I want to dress, right? And like I was like, am I slowly becoming that old person that is just wearing crazy shit? And then you're just like,
are they clinging to the youth and they'll never grow up?
That, or just like they got into a style and never got out of it, or they just shouldn't be wearing things. But then you see really cool old people that really just have style and they get it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm shooting for that, but I'm like, am I drifting over into like you don't know what the fuck you're doing, like kind of thing?
Did I gutter ball this?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, man.
I really don't care though.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like age is a measure of how old you are, but it's mostly a mentality to me when it comes to things like that. If you want to be old, if it's mowing season, man, and you're putting on white New Balances with the blue in, that's what everybody else is doing.
Those are expensive though.
Well, whatever.
Hey, let me tell you, as a sneakerhead, don't be mowing the yard in New Balances. Like, are you crazy? Like, I mean,
why is that the shoe with the Velcro?
Oh no!
Why is that what they're choosing?
No, those are those SAS shoes. Those aren't New Balance.
That's not New Balance.
Fucking Jack Harlow's like fucking just like he's like our whole stock's going down right now.
Yeah, man.
He's like I didn't sign up with New Balance. I have Landon and I totally bash it.
Totally rip it on a podcast.
Hey, I have a real quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and people categorize you as a knucklehead, like they like that you're like a meathead. Or is that probably
the same thing?
I'm making them kind of say that
they've had a lot of labels that are in that same category.
Yes, I mean, I've known you for a while, and I really like you, and I really wouldn't hang around somebody that was a knucklehead or that's not my style. And just like I've had an old lady, I've opened the door for her, like at a gas station, like I was wearing like a sleeveless shirt, and like she like jumped out of the way, and I was
she was nervous.
Yeah,
like you scared her.
I guess. I'm sure on some level that's happened to you, and that's probably why people are like, well, like you should have tattoo. You know what I mean? Like
story. We're in Port Aransas about a month ago for one of my buddies' 40th. Okay, and I'm wearing probably the same. So yeah. jorts. I'm wearing jorts like I am right now, right?
But not the Barkley jersey.
No, I wouldn't have the Barkley jersey on. I had a tank top on, but it was a crop. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what shoes I had on, but it didn't matter,
You're Zeke
right?
Elliott in it all over the fucking beach.
Yes, right, without the feed me tattoo, okay? So again, so I walk into this store and my buddy who I'm with he's a clean cut dude, right? He's a manager, and he's got people that work under him and stuff like that. Like he works for a corporate company that kind of somewhat mandates how you look, right? They want to be presentable, they want to be professional, right? All that to say, I can't walk into his store and apply for a job there and keep the same look.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't be accepted. Anyways, he's following me in there. I've been friends with this dude for a long time. And he's like, dude, are you going in the store like this? And I'm like, I don't have any other clothes, man. And I'm walking right now. I could really care less. I'm also in Port Aransas. I don't know anybody here. I don't care, even if I did know anybody. Pulls out his phone. And I'm walking through the store, grabbing a few things or whatever. And like, the looks that I would get from people probably in the second part of their life, meaning probably 50 and above, are just like, what is this guy doing here? Like,
hey, bro, imagine that.
Right.
But you can't change clothes.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't change. You can't cover up.
No. I mean, I can.
But the same thing. Like,
It's summertime.
those people definitely thought this guy's this idiot, this knucklehead, this douchebag, whatever you want, fill in the blank, for sure. I don't really care.
Well, I mean, it's a 50-50 shot, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we talked about this the first time we kind of sat down, but like 50% of people are going to like it, 50% of people are going to hate you. Just fuck with the 50% of people that like it. Don't worry about the other 50%. It's just going to like, I mean, I've had total strangers just come up to me and go, you look like a fucking asshole. I'm like, why, one, why would you lead off with that? Like, two, what did I do to you? Three, why'd you feel the need to come over here? And so on some level, they're probably doing what you're saying, like when you're saying, hey, I'm interested in that person.
It's judgment, man. It's all it is. Yeah.
But I don't know, sometimes, like when you just roll up somebody and you go, hey, you look like an asshole. What is that person really trying to accomplish? Because like no normal person would really kind of do that. So it's almost like
they're mad at their dad, dude.
Well, you're trying to start a conversation of sorts.
Like,
right?
Just say what you really want to say.
Yeah, like just ask me a question, right? You know what I mean? That would be easier. Right. But you know, it's got to be like some sort of shocking.
You don't have to be a dick about it and piss me off, or just not even piss me off. Just turn me off to anything else you have to say.
I mean, try starting any conversation with you look like an asshole.
It doesn't work.
I mean, I don't foresee, like...
I've never tried it. I can't imagine myself trying that, but...
No, I can't think of it.
What situation is? I can't really think of a time when
I'm sure Rodman started many conversations like, "Oh, you look like an asshole."
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm going to check him off.
Yes, I marked him off. Is it your turn?
Did you say Rodman?
I said Rodman. Yeah. So it's your turn.
Okay. Oh, we said Shaq. I need to put an X by him because I don't want to talk about him anymore. All right. So this one's purely going to be, you're going to be like, what are you talking about?
It's a homer. What is a homer pick?
I don't know if it's that, but this is purely selfish.
Okay. Fair.
Okay. Purely selfish.
Hey, you have to defend it, not me. So I'm not fucking worried.
My defense is not going to be Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, I'm not. Hey, I'm not exactly not on. I mean, yes.
Some controversy. So there's two reasons here that I put him on the list. I think he was I can't remember what Sega Genesis game that he was on, but he was the best dunker on the game.
Oh, for sure.
He was doing all kinds of spins, jumping from the free throw line. Like
NBA Jam?
I don't think it was that. I think it was a game where you had all 5 players on there or whatever. And then he is the guy, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's the guy that chokes out his coach.
Yes.
PJ
Carmison.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, whatever. Like he's got his own justification for what he did. It's probably leaning more to the wrong side of it from an influence standpoint, but like,
well, to that point,
don't choke out your coaches.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not recommending this.
I'm not saying that, but like somebody that is going to stand up for themselves like that. There's definitely different ways that he could have handled it 100%.
You could easily say that particular kind of event maybe in a weird way, led to players sticking up for themselves. Like, it's how we get to like, Kyrie and all the things that he did. Right. Like it stems somewhere from players realizing the power they had in the NBA.
He could make the list.
Who's that? Kyrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about
He's not
that.
on my list, but there's probably defense for him.
I feel like there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is a good one. And listen, it's scary to talk about it because a lot of his influence recently has been, call it political, whatever you want to.
But I think.
But again, standing up for something you believe in.
But I think
that goes a long way with me.
I mean, you could say Abdul Rauf. What was that?
God, Sham God.
No. Oh, forgot his name. He was the guy. His original name was Chris something, and he played for the Nuggets. I can't remember his name. We can look it up later. But the point is I think he wouldn't either stand for the national anthem, or he wouldn't sing it, or he wouldn't put his hand over his heart because of his religion at that point. But at that point, this is like in the early 90s. There's no social media. There's no nothing. And so it was kind of a story that just kind of like went away. You know what I mean? And so I think there's always been players like Kyrie, kind of what Latrell Sprewell did. But now it's so inflammatory by social media and stuff like that. Like it's hard to be as controversial probably as some of those players were. Like, I thank God every day there was no social media when Michael Jordan was playing basketball, because I'm pretty sure, he's painted in a totally different picture. Probably.
Yeah. Like, is he the same Michael Jordan if there's social media around?
I don't think,
on the court, maybe.
Yeah, but I also think that, like, Michael Jordan had his demons just like everybody else.
Sure.
And, he's viewed as almost like a demigod to basketball. And, let's not forget, like, Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife. Okay?
Right.
Don't forget.
Right.
Like,
there's things out here that have
forget.
happened, right? I mean, Ray Lewis is Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, he also killed somebody.
Right.
Allegedly.
Ben Roethlisberger, Super Bowl champion.
I mean,
everybody's got their demons. Everybody's got it. So I don't know, man. Like kids don't choke out your coaches.
Yeah, that's not the lesson of this is that, like, you do have influence, but you don't have to choke out your coach to do it.
Like, use your influence. And I'm not saying we're influencing kids in the right way. Did Latrell Sprewell doing that influence the way that coaches coach? Did he influence the way that players and coaches' relationships are handled?
Okay, really quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
Is anybody choking out George Karl?
George Karl?
Wait, is that
the supersonic? The chubby guy?
But then he coached in Dallas for a little bit, right? Right before who's last dude before what's his nuts?
Don Nelson? No.
Oh, Don Nelson. No,
I'm thinking about Don Nelson.
Okay. Anybody choking out Don Nelson?
I don't think he ever got choked out.
Anybody choking out Phil Jackson?
Pat Riley? Nobody's choking these guys out.
Nuh-uh.
Like,
hey,
so you're saying
I'm saying
PJ Carlesimo ain't maybe the coach that we should be like. He's not the standard. So
no,
there may be a coaching issue here.
I'm not.
It's a good point though.
I'm just saying that, like,
these coaches aren't getting coached out for a good reason.
Look, Phil Jackson coached a long time after PJ Carlesimo got choked out by Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody choking that guy out.
Real quick though, let's look at this list real quick.
Okay.
This is just an observation I just had. Jordan.
Great pace. Yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah. What about it?
Coach Rodman.
Yeah.
I think you have a bull on your list. We just had a conversation.
I have another bull on my list.
We just have a conversation about Phil Jackson. Are the Bulls the most influential team of all time?
I think so. I think, but like, if we were
Pippen's the only guy
if we go,
here.
Who's the most influential basketball player of all time? Of most who would mostly agree? They're going to say Jordan
for sure.
Now, you could easily say there's people that say Magic. There's people that would say other people. But when you talk about every single thing that this guy has touched, I mean, there is no basketball.
There's nobody that doesn't know Michael Jordan. I don't care if you play basketball or not.
Well, and there's other
that
people.
Could also be said about like LeBron now because of social media.
But you're talking about when he did it, when he was doing this.
There was no social media in the 90s.
Like, you watch those documentaries when they were in the Olympics and went to they couldn't go anywhere. It was like the Beatles, like, you know what I mean? And like everybody was really there just to see Jordan.
Right. Nobody cared about Leitner.
And remember, Magic, yeah, nobody's seeing Christian Leitner. Like, they were like, hey, ball boy, can you get his autograph for me?
Right.
Like, and remember at that time, Magic and Bird, like, I mean, they were the NBA at that time, and nobody was going to see these guys
because Jordan was already on the tail end, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you go, if they had this much or equal influence, people would have known them as much over there as they did Jordan, but Jordan had a way bigger reach at that, or even at that point.
You know what my first memory of Magic is?
What's that?
It's not basketball.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think's so weird about that? I want you to answer a question for me.
Yeah.
Does Magic Johnson right now have HIV?
I can't imagine that he does.
I don't know if he does or not.
I don't.
Can you get rid of it?
Can you also live with it for 30 plus years?
Apparently.
I guess you can.
Apparently, if you have enough money, I mean, you're fine, I guess.
Western medicine's awesome, dude, apparently.
But I mean, I think about that like all the time. Like, you just use Magic Johnson as an example. What is his legacy? What is his influence?
How did he have HIV? But what's his name that hooked up with 10,000 women didn't? How does that work?
What's his name?
Is that Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah.
Is that Wilt Chamberlain that was like supposedly? No, I don't think he was. It wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's Wilt. You're right.
It was Wilt, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Like if 10,000 is
do you know what
high number?
Do you know what would be my guess?
Magic maybe just unlucky.
Well, I think maybe that's probably part of it. But you know what? Well, it's gonna be a really weird question. Who do you think was part of more than one partner's sex? Magic Johnson or Wilt Chamberlain? Like, who had more than just
threesomes? Is that what you're asking me?
Threesomes plus. Do you think it was Magic Johnson?
Who was involved in more orgies?
Yes.
Living a non-celebrity status, that's really hard for me to answer. Like, are celebrities just like able to do this as much as they want to?
I don't think so.
Like, okay, so
I mean, this is feeding into my own theory, but I
don't know.
I think it might have been Magic Johnson.
Maybe
given the time and when he played basketball in the 80s and what basketball was at that time.
What team he played for.
What was going on.
Probably right.
All that stuff. And then, just kind of Wilt Chamberlain, the world was different in the 60s and it was in 70s, like in the more, I guess, like 50s, 60s, 70s, you know what I mean? So it's just a different time. So that would be kind of my guess. Like,
I would think you're right.
What happened?
I think you're right with
This is wild ass speculation. None of this is true, by the way.
We don't know anything, man.
I don't know anything.
Nothing.
All I know is Magic Johnson doesn't have HIV anymore. Allegedly. I don't know if that's even allegedly.
Did you look that up?
I didn't look it up.
Okay.
Hey, never mind. We don't have anybody.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Just when you need somebody to look.
That's all right, though.
All right, so is it my turn?
Check mark Latrell Sprewell.
Okay.
Go.
Robert Horry.
Not on my list. And
he's got the second most rings, bro. Behind Bill Russell, if I have that correctly, he has the second most rings.
7?
He has 3 with the Lakers, 3 with the Spurs, and 1 with I have to look it up. I think
Houston?
I think
Did
maybe
he get with the Rockets?
I think so.
Let me just look this up real quick.
But also,
I'll be Jordan for right now.
Also, nickname Big Shot Rob. I mean, he was he was daggers in those playoffs. Like, at the highest moment.
7 rings.
7 rings. So what are
Let's see. Robert Horry, Wikipedia. You know, this dude went to college at Alabama?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep. Well, he played for the Rockets first. That's why I kind of know so much about him.
NBA career. This is not my strength. I usually take Robert Horry rings. Championship teams. There we go. Sorry for you guys. I'm a little slow.
No, it's all right.
Okay. He won rings with the Lakers, the Rockets, and the Spurs.
Yeah. Does it say
94, 95, 2000, 2001, 2002. You know who that was with?
The Lakers.
2005 and 2007. I believe this is saying he won 2 with the Rockets,
2 with the Spurs,
3 with the Lakers, and then
2 with the Rockets,
Spurs.
2 with the Spurs, 3 with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Big shot, Rob.
Outside of his big shots,
I mean, he was.
Why is he on there for you?
I think, I'm sure.
Which is interesting. You can't just. It's
so
not like you're a Rockets fan, but you're not a Spurs fan.
No.
So,
and I'm also not a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Right. So
most of his rings came on teams that you don't like.
Right. I think for me, I mean, when you think about like that, someone went to 3 different teams and won rings with 3 different teams. I don't think that happens very often. You know what I mean? Where unless somebody's just and like he's not just riding the bench, like jumping from team to team. Like he is a critical part of kind of what they're doing, and like big shots at big times. And so to be that kind of like journeyman guy that just like I don't want to say, I mean, because he could have easily not won rings with any of those teams. Like
it's clear that he's an icy shooter, man. Like he can shoot the ball under any kind of. He's not scared to shoot the ball. One, and he's confident when he shoots. And you don't get the name Big Shot Rob by making big shot. Everybody's seen the tip out, the Lakers, the top of the key, but it wasn't. That's probably the one I've seen the most. But that ain't the only one.
I mean, but like when you talk about clutch players. I mean, like that guy's clutch, and like I don't know. I feel like that everybody wants to like hit that buzzer beater or hit that 3 and like to do it on multiple teams and then to win multiple rings. It's just like I feel like that it's a really good example of like what really smart managing your basketball career can do.
Right.
Because you could easily go, well, okay, well, he could have stayed on the Rockets, and I don't know if they would have paid him or whatever, but he could have stayed. They didn't win any rings after that.
Yeah.
And his career would have been totally different.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like I don't know that you get 7 rings
without having some sort of influence.
Your influence and your impact is there.
What is it? Just coincidence?
Right. Like
it's coincidence. Like every team you're on, fucking winning.
You're
shit.
just lucky that like you just picked the right teams that win rings.
Like I
play
the lottery.
It's not like that. I don't think it's like that.
All right. Who's your next dude?
So I'm gonna go with Jason Williams.
Okay. Why?
Point guard Jason Williams. To this day, I'm not sure anybody handles the ball and passes like he did. With as much swagger as he did. Like I never saw that. Like, so I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, because Jason Williams was in the league around the time that the N1 mixtape was coming out.
Yes.
They were so the same. And I so badly wanted the Professor and Hot Sauce to be in the NBA. But then when you look at it, you're like,
there's no way.
They're breaking every rule in the book. There's no way they're playing in a regulated game.
Right.
They're traveling.
It's a different type of game.
It's a totally different type of basketball. And Jason Williams, to me, was the closest thing to that. Like throwing passes and then spinning twice with like a look on your face. It's like, bro, I know I just made a pass that's out of this world. But it wasn't just the pass. It's how it's his attitude about it. Like, you're good, you're good, and you play the game. And I just didn't see that anymore. I don't see that now. I don't see that anymore. Like, people can dribble, sure, but I don't know. I'm really kind of thinking here, who passes the ball like Jason Kidd was a really good passer. John Stockton, good assist guys. They ain't on my list. They didn't influence anybody, right?
Hey,
right.
You know,
John Stockton is not on my top 10.
You know who John Stockton plays with? Karl Malone.
Right.
You know who Karl Malone is? Is like a giant country boy that like wants like straight up passes.
Right.
But I didn't want straight up passes. I wanted tricky. I wanted tricky passes.
I wanted fun stuff. I wanted fun passes. Like you'll see people like nutmeg people now, right? Mm-hmm. Pass the ball through the legs for anybody that may not know that. But like, I just didn't see it. The pass where he goes behind the back off the elbow to the like, he could just go for a layup and then throw it over his shoulder. But like, he also played with a few guys that I just didn't enjoy. So, but it didn't change my my view of him. Like I wasn't a big Vlade Divac fan. I wasn't a Doug Christie fan. I really didn't like Sacramento at the time, I think is really what it was.
You like Chris Webber, though?
I didn't not like Chris Webber, but I like Chris Webber better as a
commentator
than I did a player. He was just kind of like, he was a good player, but there was nothing flashy about him. Like his biggest claim to fame was calling the timeout when they didn't have one. Michigan.
I think it was really hard for those guys to live up to the hype of what they had created in college. You know what I mean?
Fab Five?
Yeah. Like to live up to the hype of what that was.
They were celebrities
like
in college, not in the NBA.
In a time where there's no social media, like we're back to like they were, and their bus was like, I mean, people would, it was huge. So you get to the NBA, and then you're just one of many.
It's a letdown, man. You're let down because you're not part of your five anymore.
Well, it's kind of, God bless, like Vince Young, but like, the peak of his career was college. Dude. And some people peak in college, some people peak in the pros. Tom Brady gets drafted in the 6th round, wins 7 Super Bowls.
How many people knew Tom Brady in college?
No.
Some.
I mean,
but not
people that watch Michigan football.
People that watch Michigan football, that's right. But nobody else. Nobody else knew Tom Brady, right? It just wasn't like that. I didn't even really know, like, I didn't even really know, like, he came in because of Drew Bledsoe got hurt.
Right.
Like, he just seized his opportunity.
But
there was no other option. Also,
yeah,
there's no other option. Like Drew Bledsoe didn't get hurt. Where's Tom Brady? He probably still gets his chance somewhere, but is he the same Tom Brady?
You could say,
I don't know.
If Vince Young didn't have a gun in his glove compartment, it'd be out.
This is all Back to the Future, messing with the space-time continuum right here, right? Yeah. Like, do we go back and change one thing and then it changes the whole course of history?
Well, but okay. We won't talk about this, but I'm asking you, have you watched that Manti Te'o documentary on Netflix? Okay. So whenever this airs, it will be way after this, but you should go home and watch it.
All right.
I don't remember. I remember it, and I don't remember a lot about it.
Yeah.
But to watch it, I get the feeling his whole career in the NFL would have been totally different if it wasn't for that one event, and he really didn't have anything to do with it. It really wasn't truly his fault.
But it changed the course of his career.
It changed the whole course of his career.
That's what I'm talking about.
But the cool part is at the end, his perspective on the whole thing and how blessed
he recognizes that.
Oh yeah. And it's really cool. Like it gives me chills kind of thinking about it because it's like that's all you can do. All you can do is take what's given to you and try to make the best and understand. I read this quote. It said, your purpose is to find your gift and your something in life is to find your gift and your purpose is to give it away.
Yeah.
Right. So when you find the thing that you do, that is the thing that you do, you're supposed to give that away as to many people you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like his attitude, which is like just.
So speaking of quotes, and this has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but I heard one the other day, and I don't. You'll post some things like this on your social media, but it was don't ruin yourself trying to fix someone else.
I don't lose yourself trying to fix
Don't lose yourself.
someone else. Yeah.
And the whole idea is that don't lose sight of what you're doing for yourself because you're trying to focus on fixing somebody else. They got to fix themselves.
Well,
right. And I know, again, that means nothing, but you mentioned a quote and I was like, there's something on the top of my mind here.
Well, you can't, how do you support someone with no legs? Like not the person, like when you have no base, how do you support somebody else? This is a little bit of fitness thing, but I think you'll probably agree with this. If you can't squat with both your feet on the ground, why are you squatting on a BOSU?
Right.
If you can't just squat on flat ground with nothing challenging you,
why make it harder?
Well, you can't even do the first part. So you have to be able to squat like a real person before you jump on a BOSU, before you do all this. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And another example of that is so at the gym we'll use bands for pull-ups, and nobody does this. So if anybody from the gym is listening, I'm not calling anybody out, but why would you add weight to an assisted pull-up already? Why would you make why would you add external weight to a pull-up if you can't even do a body weight pull-up?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But believe it or not, there's questions out there like that, right? Oh, let me squat on the BOSU. Bro, we need to work on your air squat before we do a back squat.
Right.
We need to squat on the ground with no weight before we squat with weight.
Well, I think people underestimate how dysfunctional their bodies are. Like, and I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in a way of like, look, I am like, especially as I get older, I am weekly figuring out how dysfunctional my body is.
Right.
Like going like, oh, fuck, man. Like this is fucking, this is fucking broke too. Like I got to fucking work on this and add this in and blah, 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 whatever. And like, this is what I do. And I feel like I squat okay, but still over time with things that my squat's going to go to shit too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're, I don't know.
Use it
if
or
you're
lose
training
it.
to stand on a fucking boat, then stand on a boat suit. Fine.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? But if your job is on a boat, don't get on a boat suit.
I mean, yes. Agreed. All right.
That's one hell of a tangent. Is it my turn or your turn?
Well, so
I said Robert Horry, so it must be your turn.
No, we went Jason Williams after
Jason
that.
Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, you won't say this, so I'll say it. Michael Jordan, at the time where Michael Jordan's playing basketball, everybody loved Michael Jordan.
Right.
White kids, black kids, Mexican kids, everybody. And up to that point, a role model as a young white kid playing basketball is like Larry Bird. Okay.
Yep.
So to have someone that looks like me, that's flashy and plays basketball in a style that's like and one, like that was very attractive to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we find a lot of our role models, the people that we role model after, are just like things we like about them that could be really, when I was a kid, I liked Kirk Cameron. I thought he was cool as shit. Right? You know what I mean? I permed my hair because
that perm.
Because I want to be Kirk Cameron. You know what I mean? That didn't have anything to do with like his race.
Growing pains.
It had to do with like I related to something in him. And with Jason Williams, like I really it was like so cool that somebody could be so cool and be white.
Right.
You know what I mean?
White kids weren't supposed to be that good at basketball.
White kids
were
that
supposed flashy or that had that much swagger.
White kids were supposed to shoot threes.
Right.
And wear short shorts and tall socks.
Right?
And preferably goggles.
Dude, I still, Kurt Rambis.
Yeah.
I still watch The Professor on And One. Like I follow him on social media because he's still hitting up courts.
It's kind of cool.
It is. Like he's not as old as you might think.
I also he's
like 35.
Who the fuck doesn't know who this guy is yet? Like, I mean, who's he sneaking up on like Borat?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Like people know you at this point, right?
Especially
like
with social media.
And especially street ballers.
But something he does, correct me if I'm wrong, something he does I think it's really great is, doesn't he go and do talks like at prisons?
Prisons, yep. He's done that before, played with them out there.
And he plays ball with them at the end, right? After he talks to him.
Yep.
That is like
it's fun, man.
It's so cool. Like,
it's fun.
What a great way to take something, one of your, it's your gift, and then repurpose it for others. You know,
he made his job his hobby. No,
he made his hobby his job,
and he was also able to do some good with it.
Right.
That's
a win-win all across the board, bro.
360, man.
Yeah,
that's like seeing a mermaid or a unicorn. You know what I mean?
All right. So
Jason Williams off. We don't need to talk about him.
All right. Kevin Garnett.
Not on mine, but go for it.
Before Kevin Garnett, to me, I know there were players that went straight from high school to the NBA.
High school. Sean Kemp.
There were, but there wasn't a lot of people that didn't. There was not a success, and Kevin Garnett was that first dude to like you knew this dude was like he was going to go to the NBA, and it was like he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think like I said, I know there's people before him. But like he kind of kicked open that door for Kobe and all these other guys that were going to go straight from high school. There is no LeBron going straight to the NBA without Kevin Garnett.
He was on one of to be such a big name. Like he spent a lot of his career on a no-name team.
Yeah, but
he played with like Wally Zerbiak.
What's wrong with Wally Zerbiak?
Nothing. But he ain't winning championships.
He ain't no Jason Williams either.
Nope,
Let me tell you that.
Not.
Let me tell you that. Ain't nobody trying to be Wally Zerbiak.
Right, nobody.
I think, so he played on good teams in Minnesota. Stephon Marbury was on one of those teams. But I guess what they,
Speaking of and one.
A lot of, it's coaching, it's all the things. And then you take the second half of his career where, he's really, they're the first big three.
Boston.
Yeah. And so I'm sure similar things have been done, but not, publicly, like politicized in that way that there's 3 guys and they're coming here to win a championship.
Yeah. He's an influential player for sure. Like,
and he's got a great like TikTok or Instagram and shit. Like,
really?
Yeah, he's like talking shit constantly.
I've only seen him in commercials here lately.
I think he has I think he has a podcast too. He talks shit on his podcast. Like it's pretty.
How many more players do you have?
So that was 5. But there's 11 on my list, so I got to take somebody off of here. But we can mow through these kind of quickly. And if you have someone on your list, I mean, I have some pretty interesting dudes here at the end though. So
I got 3 guys left. Okay, that I'm like in.
We'll just finish them out. Like we don't have to go through all my dudes. I can just go throw some down as honorable mentions. You know.
Yeah. So I'll say Ron Artest, or what do we call it? Meta World Peace. Yeah. And for one of the, listen, again, we'll get back to the violent part of the game. Like, there's something, I really like authenticity.
Of course. Right? It's the best.
I love it.
It's all my shit, bro.
I don't like the violent part of it, but when he ran into those stands to defend his team, to defend whatever, like, that's how he wanted to act. He knew he was going to get in trouble for that. And there's something about that is attractive is not the word, but you got to have control over your emotions. But just the fact that he's being authentic was kind of like, he's the guy that did that, right? I want to say there was a Rocket that did this back in the day too. Was it Vernon Maxwell maybe?
Runs into the crowd. Vernon Maxwell fucks some people up.
Like
bro.
He didn't care. And I guess he probably didn't make the list because he didn't change his name. He wasn't kind of like the agitator on the team, but I think he had some influence. Again, maybe not positive influence, but we didn't say this is a list about positive influencers.
We just
said overall influence, right? Yeah. Like, he's on my list.
Well, let me piggyback on this Ron Artest thing. I think it's pretty well documented that Ron Artest had like some issues.
Sure.
Right.
There's some mental things going on.
Like,
with
I think it's growing up and where he grew up at and the whole thing, so I think that's well documented. So I'm not speaking out of turn, but
he may have been more controversial than influential now that I think about it, but whatever.
But controversy can be influential. Mm-hmm. Dennis Rodman was controversial.
Sure.
Right. I think, okay. When someone has issues, I don't think they're never not trying to be themselves, right? Like if you have issues, like you're still trying to be yourself.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be a person with issues. You're just a person that has issues.
Sure.
And on some level, that's very
You're not doing it on purpose.
That's very authentic.
Right.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for someone to have issues and be authentic in that way.
But you still you're being yourself.
But he's being himself. And so, yes, not condoning like violence.
Nope.
But going like, that's what he was gonna do. That's at his time in the NBA. He was pretty much himself. And in some level, so was Rodman. And some level, so was Jordan. But like Ron Artest is like himself, looks a lot different than Jordan by himself, like himself.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so, it does have influence,
I think he also had there was more negative about him than there was positive.
Yeah, but a lot
he wasn't winning championships. He wasn't first team All NBA.
He wasn't helping himself out either.
No, he didn't do anything to help himself out. I don't know if he was a humanitarian or not. Like, was he did he have foundations like everybody has now? Like, was he helping the kids? I don't know those answers.
He could.
Maybe, but I wasn't hearing about it.
Well, because
was it being outshined by, again, all the negatives that were coming with him being him?
Well, and so then you get into and we don't have to talk about it, but like Rasheed Wallace. What's Rasheed Wallace?
Right.
What has been Wallace's influence?
Right.
What is, I'm trying to think of another dude, like these guys that were these enforcers that kind of carried on that tradition of being an enforcer. What kind of what is their real influence on NBA? And then like how an enforcer works now, like how the Draymond Greens of the world work inside, the more confined, because it's not as, you can't get away with as much. I mean,
Can't touch anybody anymore.
yeah, so that now you got to get in their head. It's
Right,
more of a head
right.
game,
It's a
or
mind game at this point.
it's little small things, and stuff like that. Like,
Is the game easier or harder now because of that?
I think it's just different. I don't.
It's not.
I think that
90s basketball is different than 2000s. Is different than 2023.
the same way that street basketball is different than the NBA. That's different than college. That's different than G League. The same way that college football is different than the pro football. They're essentially different sports. Like I was talking to one of my friends today, and we were talking about just rap music.
Yeah.
But then when you talk about like Houston rap music as a cult, it's its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Right. You say because it is kind of small comparatively. Right. But like when I say West Coast, when I say East Coast, like these things, but then you go, well, there's a whole kind of rap style in Miami. It's totally different than, and there's probably one in North Carolina, and there's one in Louisiana, and and like these little pockets of stuff. And so is it impossible that sports would have these pockets of things, like
it's
these
not impossible. I think it definitely exists. I don't know that people are labeling it like that yet.
No, I mean, but
I think they should. Like for instance, when you said West Coast, East Coast rap versus Houston rap, like the rap I grew up on, like you can't listen to a rap song anymore without hearing people like, brr, brr, like that. I don't not like it. But Bone Thugs wasn't doing that.
It just it's the evolution.
It's how it.
I mean, we can do a whole other podcast on influential like rap musicians, rappers. You know what I mean? Because you look at a lot of that stuff like comes from like Lil Wayne and like and Lil Wayne came from blank. And, you know what I mean? It's just it's always evolving. And the crazy part about it is with social media, it's evolving at a more rapid rate across more.
Because there's go watch the NWA movie. What's it called?
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Good movie.
I really liked it.
Good movie.
That Tupac one's up. No, it's not. It's all right. All right. Well, look. We
said our test was the last one.
No, you said our test.
I did.
So we're just gonna go over this one real quick. I'm gonna move on to my next one. So Giannis, we can agree that if Giannis can shoot a three, consistently shoot a three. Like I'm not saying Kevin Durant shoot a three.
What are you talking about? 30%?
I'll take 30%.
If Giannis consistently shoots 30%, he's in the top 5 players probably to ever play the game.
Okay, so I'll take 25%.
Maybe it goes down a little bit, but
he
dominates games.
When you look at Kevin Durant. Not that Kevin Durant's not a good defender, a good shooter, he can drive to the back. Not that Kevin Durant can do that stuff, but Giannis, just his body, his frame, the amount of muscle he has put on, just that difference makes a huge.
Kevin Durant takes a charge. You're afraid he's breaking his leg.
Well, and it's going to make him more injury prone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Giannis has been injury prone even at the where he's at. But I just think if that particular basketball player keeps evolving. Now we're talking like Space Jam Monstars. You know what I mean? Like where dudes are just not only are they big and muscular, but they can dunk and they can shoot and like they're real tall and like
they pretty much can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
he kind of almost does.
Listen, I don't care about Milwaukee. If they do good, great. If they do bad, great, fine. I can appreciate that kind of talent.
Oh, yeah.
It's generational talent.
I hate the Spurs. I can appreciate what they do.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody's choking out Greg Popovich.
Nobody. 0 people. Come on.
In fact, I have a full.
I want to see somebody try it.
I have a full, like if somebody tried to choke out Greg Popovich, he'd grab him like this and like twist their arm and like turn it around backwards and then put him on the ground and go, leave practice.
It's like Jackie Chan style type stuff. But I'm a basketball coach now.
All right. So do you want me to do, since we went over Giannis real quick, you want me to do my next one or you want to do one? Because I could end in the next 3. I could leave off my last 2.
I'm going one more.
Okay.
And listen, again, this may be like, I think Luka is influencing how, again,
this will be good.
How slow white guys are playing the game. He doesn't play fast. He gets any shot he wants.
He's slippery.
He's a sneaky basketball player.
But you know who else is a sneaky basketball player? Not so much anymore, but in his prime was Harden. Harden's I called him deceptively slow. He's like deceptive, like, but here's where I don't know quite his full influence on basketball so far. So far, what I'll tell you though is to have someone come in so young and be so in tune with how to play basketball is very, very impressive. Well, like I don't even think I don't know, but I don't even think LeBron came in the NBA.
Made such a splash so quick.
Well, just knew as much about the game of how to play the game of basketball and control. But then you go, there is no Luka without LeBron, probably.
There's probably not. There's probably, right. And again, is there a Luka without, not even Dirk, but like, there's probably a couple people like that. And everybody's like, it's not when Luka wins an MVP, it's how many. I'm not so sure that he wins an MVP. It's weird to say that he's on this list, but look at the other guys that he's playing in against the league right now. You know, he's playing against Giannis. He's playing with Steph. He's playing with Embiid. Like he's playing with some guys that, like, and also too, your team has to do really good, I think, for you to win the MVP.
All right, I got a good one for you. Man, you just teed this shit right up.
Go,
Steve Nash.
Man,
now. I want to remind you.
I love Steve Nash, by the way.
With the Suns, back-to-back
MVPs as a point guard.
As a point guard.
As a soccer player growing up.
Okay. How many rings does he have?
I think 0. The Suns have never won a championship, so
that is
it's
0.
0. Right.
So you go, Luka could win multiple MVPs. He could also not have a championship. He could also win a championship and not ever win the MVP.
So you're saying...
what I'm saying is, it's like, people are like, it's not how many MVPs he wins, but like that won't define his career. That's the only aspect of his career. Like with Steve Nash, I mean, the only thing you really say is, I mean, he was a good point guard. He played for a pretty long time.
Yeah.
He had 2 back-to-back MVP. He had 2 really awesome years and a really great offense, and he played soccer. And he's from Canada.
Right.
Like, that's it.
There's not much else you're saying about him.
No, I mean, and you could even say, like, he probably played about 1 or 2 seasons too long when he went to L.A. And just couldn't stay healthy, right? But, like, he was trying to win that championship.
That's why you stay that long.
Yeah.
You've done all the other things you need to do.
You know what's crazy about it? Like, think about this. Think about how many people have gone to the Lakers to win championships.
And not won?
Karl Malone. He didn't win one, right?
Nope.
Did Gary Payton get one?
When's the last time the Lakers won a championship?
Well, Kobe.
Kobe and Shaq?
Nah.
Shaq was gone?
Shaq was gone. They won one because remember he wanted to prove that he could win one without Shaq.
Well, so against that point, like, why did Shaq keep playing? He won plenty of championships at the Lakers. Well,
I think
plenty,
Shaq
3. But didn't he play for like Boston at some point?
Yeah, I think Shaq just liked playing.
I just want to play. I'm big.
I think
and I
he just
play.
liked being around basketball. I mean, that's why he does all the TNT stuff. I think he just likes. I mean, think about this. Like when you think of Shaq, like you don't go, oh, Papa John's.
Right.
You don't go the General. Like whatever other fucking shit he's pawning or whatever. You think basketball, and so I think he stayed in basketball because he really loved basketball, but even at some point his body gave out on him. You know what I mean?
Are there any athletes you think about when you think about them, you think about their endorsements rather than their career? Like when you think of like Peyton Manning, do you think Nationwide is on?
When I think of Peyton Manning, I think that he has an incredibly large head.
Yeah.
And I think that he was a really great quarterback. But I don't want my quarterback to play like that. That's just me.
I want
Brett Favre all day. I want Brett Favre all day, every day.
You want somebody that will grind, and you want Cal Ripken type.
I want a dude that like
takes a hit and gets back in there.
If he throws 4 picks, he's like, all I got to do is throw 1 more touchdown. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's like,
you want the guy whose dad dies in the morning and you're playing that night.
Yeah, and throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like I mean, but Brett Favre's probably one of my all-time favorite athletes. You know what I mean? But like,
he was an Iron Man, right? He was an Iron Horse.
Yeah, but I liked gunslingers. Like I like Phillip Rivers, Brett Favre, Dan Marino to some level, right? Like I don't like Tom Brady. I don't like Peyton Manning. I know you're playing football the right way, just like the Spurs play basketball the right way. I don't want to watch the Spurs play fucking basketball.
Right. Tim Duncan may be the most boring basketball player I've ever watched.
Look, Vince Young ain't playing. I mean, not Vince Young. Good. Vince Carter ain't playing for the Spurs.
Nope.
You know what I mean? This guy's trying to dunk fucking basketball.
Right.
But, like everybody, pure basketball purists love it. Football purists love it.
I don't like
it's the precision. Look at him. Like, he knows when to make blah, blah, blah. But then you, not to get on.
I liked Peyton Manning because he was on my fantasy team. It was a fantasy dream.
My first.
Other than that, whatever. I like Papa John's commercials and the commercials with the country singer, whatever his name is.
Brad Paisley.
Yeah, yeah.
Really quick story to show how old I am. The first time I played fantasy football was probably, I'm going to guess it was like 1997.
All right.
Okay. There is no internet. There is no, the way we played fantasy football was there was a guy that organized the whole thing. We went in a room. We did our draft, right? And then he would get all the statistics out of the newspaper, add all that shit up, and give us our scores.
Can't even believe y'all played that.
Hey, I didn't have to add the scores. I didn't care.
You just paid to play.
But the only reason I tell this story is because in one of those seasons, I had on the same team, I had Brett Favre, right? Ederin James, and Marvin Harrison, and Peyton Manning was a quarterback for the Colts.
Right.
And I'm just scoring points.
Just racking up points.
Ridiculous fucking rate.
Yeah.
Because, both those teams were just really legit. And I won the pot like that. I won it like that year.
Yeah. It's can you imagine doing that now?
Fuck no.
There's fantasy drafts going on all over the place, and it's all digital. It's all that, it's real-time scoring pretty much, right? But I stopped playing fantasy football because it changed the way I watch games.
This year so usually I kind of I plan a little bit for my fantasy football draft. This year I got an email that said your draft is tomorrow, and I was like, holy shit! I haven't even looked at the thing.
I'm not even ready.
Yeah, and I was like, well, fuck it. I play fantasy football. I know players. I'll figure it the fuck out. Whatever, right?
It's not even as much knowing the players as to how the points are. How you score points, what position is
you have to know. You have to know how you're going to score your fantasy league.
Drafting is it based on your receivers? Is it based on your quarterbacks? Where are you scoring the most points?
So, I usually play in 2 leagues, and so I didn't really know I was playing in the first one until I got the email, and then I hadn't heard anything about the second one. So then, I just assumed I wasn't playing in it.
Yeah.
And I was at the gym, working out, and my buddy texted me. He goes, "Hey, the draft started 5 minutes ago." And I was like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, you're playing in both again, right? And I was like, I guess. And I was like, well, fuck it. Auto draft, right? I think the computer did a way better job than I could have done.
Maybe.
Because there's no fucking emotion in it. I'm putting emotion in who, I'm picking players because I like them over them actually being good.
Right.
And the computer's just Cooper Kupp.
Sure, exactly. Straight up. Bro, if I'm out there.
The computer was like CeeDee Lamb. And I was like, I don't like Cowboys players.
Right.
What the fuck?
But guess what?
But I'll take CeeDee Lamb all day. You kidding me?
He's my favorite Cowboy right now.
Who else you going to throw the ball to?
Right. No, you're not throwing it to Zeke.
Everybody's hurt. You ain't throwing it to nobody.
Nope.
All right, so let's move down. Was that your last one?
There's another one on here, but I don't.
My turn?
Yeah, go.
Okay, Steve Kerr.
Okay.
Let me tell you why Steve Kerr. Okay? Because I looked this up to back it up. Do you know who has the greatest three-point percentage all time in NBA history? I'll give you one guess.
I feel like I have a guess, but it wasn't Steve Kerr, but
it's Steve Kerr.
It's got to be Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr.
Okay.
Steve Kerr was the first white guy in the corner. White guy in the corner, shoot threes.
Right.
His job is when Jordan got stuck, I'm going to shift this ball to you, kick it out to you, shoot a three.
And we want you to make it.
And that became a crucial part of that triangle offense. So much so, same thing happens in LA when Phil Jackson goes to LA, right? And I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr, I looked it up, it could have been a random list, but I'm pretty positive he's at least at the top, right? Mm-hmm. And he was the first person to kind of fill that position, right? And then you go, okay, well now they coach the Warriors. Steph Curry is Steve Kerr, on steroids. He's Steve Kerr with Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan talent,
right?
Where they're getting the same looks, but he's setting up the looks for him.
Sure.
It's almost it's like Steve Kerr's reliving his he was like, well, no, I want to be the dude, but this guy has the talent to be the dude, but he's me, and I'm going to put him in all the right scenarios. You know what I mean?
Well, as far as total championships, he's got to be top 5.
I think so. So like he has
3 and 4 and 3, 3 and 3.
No, he has 3 with the Bulls and 3 with the Warriors. So he has 6.
Yeah.
I think. Wait,
Like,
no, he won. He won one with the Spurs. He might have 7.
he might have 7.
I think he won with the Spurs.
He might have 7.
Look that up.
Let's see real quick.
What? You mean to throw another one off my list while you're looking?
Go for it.
Steven Jackson.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about this.
Okay.
I need to know about this.
Okay. Now,
I haven't heard anything about him in a long time.
so this is why I think Steven Jackson is influential. And I don't know dick about shit, but I remember Steven Jackson telling stories about
8.
So yes, how many with who?
3 with the Bulls, 2 with San Antonio,
Mhm.
and 3
with the Warriors.
With the Warriors. Hold on, let me verify that, because I did 2 with the Spurs is what I didn't know. Steve.
Well, we said 1, so
Yeah. Steve Kerr's won 5 championships as a player and 4 as a head coach. Did he win 4? Have they won 4 out there?
I guess. I hate the Warriors. I don't know.
Look at this. This is it. 4.
Does it look like Joe Montana on the cover of Sports
The
Illustrated, all
Golden
those
State-
fucking rings?
Or Bill Russell holding the ball in his hand. Like, the Golden State Warriors won their 4th championship under Stephen Curry's tenure. There's no doubt.
I'm correct.
Coach
I
Steve
stand
Kerr was a
corrected then.
crucial part of why the Warriors did well.
Okay, so sorry.
He has 9 championships total, 5 from his time as a player and 4 from his time as a coach. This only helps your argument here.
Yeah, but I just think that his influence on basketball is very underrated at all aspects of, he got punched in the face by Michael Jordan, I
He
think.
stood up to Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
How many people did that?
Yeah, not anybody.
How many?
I don't even think Rodman did that. Like, I think when Jordan would come and talk to Rodman, Rodman's like, okay, cool. Like,
I get it.
I get it.
Like, I'll settle down.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that clip where Rodman's going, like, he's talking about how he gets rebounds? And he goes like this. He goes, so if it goes over here, go boop, go over here.
Yeah.
He goes over here, he go boop, I go over here. I watch this angle. He's doing his hands like this.
We don't know, dude.
And every time I see it, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson famously tells stories about how he would just get really, really high and play games. And then play like
basketball games?
Yes, and play lights out. Like, he's like, some of my best games I had while I was high. And I think, whereas
that's why the NBA doesn't test for weed anymore?
Well, they only test to like a certain level, probably. Yeah. I think when we talk about like progressive medicine and things like that, to understand that here's a guy, I mean, he's a pretty talented basketball player. He does have a lot to lose, right? And he felt like, at least at that point in his life, it was beneficial for him to do something like that to help him focus or whatever. Like, it should at least open a conversation about what does this really mean? Like, is this really something that we want to bust balls about? Because here's somebody that actually, like, I mean, if anything, called a performance enhancing drug.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because and that sounds so silly. But he didn't think it was silly,
right?
Like, he believed
his best games were under this influence.
Well, it's the same thing when you talk about what's his name, Chris Herron. You know who Chris Herron is?
Basketball?
Yeah, he's the kid that played at Boston and got strung out on drugs, and now he's like a motivational speaker. He got to the NBA, but barely.
Okay,
it's called Unguarded. It's 30 for 30. Hey, it's great. It's really great. So now he's like a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
So, but he was like. That guy would go party all night, do cocaine, drink, smoke weed, come and drop 40, not sleeping.
Really?
Like, he told a story about how he pulled up to the arena in college, from going out with chicks in the car, no shirt, ran in, put his uniform on, dropped 44.
Doesn't happen.
Well, it's like Randy Moss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Randy Moss famously, and here's a connection back to Jason Williams. Like, when you play with an athlete like Randy Moss, it gives you a lot more freedom to learn what you can actually do.
Sure.
And you could say there might not be any Jason Williams without Randy Moss.
Jason Williams was not making those passes to normal high school basketball players.
No, I mean, you got to have
making those passes to an athlete.
Well, and to Randy Moss's credit, he roughly could catch just about anything.
Sure.
So no knock on Jason Williams, but he probably made him look pretty good.
Right. He saved a bunch of his errant passes probably.
But I think Steven Jackson, minus probably Mouse in the Palace, but I just think, his influence on and basketball and like what treatment looks like for maybe whatever he was going through or whatever he was doing doesn't have to look the same for everybody. I think it was like Jay Williams that played for Duke, that got hurt. He famously said that they regularly would give him like 12 Advil for like pain.
No kidding.
Yeah. Like 12 like at a time.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Like I'll take 6.
Okay.
But my head has to be like hurting.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm also a bigger dude, but 12, like what that does to your liver and like just your stomach and processing that, right? And that was like a regular habit for them.
That was normal.
That was normal. You know what I mean? You got any more?
None that need to make the list. I don't think. I think we're close. I think I've got on here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18, but that includes that includes all the people we didn't talk about.
Okay, so let's do this last one because I think you'll like this last one, and I think that'll be good. Rafer Alston, you know who that is?
Rafer Alston was. Oh, what's his name? He's not Skip to My Lou.
It is Skip to My Lou.
Is it Skip to My Lou?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
I think he was
the only and one guy to make the NBA.
I think he was. And have you watched that and one 30 for 30, the greatest mixtape ever?
Is it 30 for 30?
Yeah.
There's something on Netflix right now that's like Unguarded. Well, I watched that one.
No, but that's another one.
I haven't seen the 30 for 30.
That's the one on Untold, which is the same.
Untold, there it is.
The Matt Teo.
Okay.
It's the same thing. There is one on an ESPN 30 for 30.
I haven't seen it.
It's really, I'm sure they're very similar.
Yeah.
Right. But you just realize, like you said, like the influence of street ball, that an NBA team was willing to give this guy like a chance. And like he hung with these dudes, like, you know what I mean? Coming from basically a different sport.
Right.
And I just think that, it says a lot about the culture of basketball and where that was kind of going and stuff.
Yeah. But I think it also too, like he took that lead, like, what did I say earlier? Jason Williams had to be influenced by these and one guys. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but it was a similar style of play, but doing it in a regulated game where they ain't calling traveling in and one games.
No.
They're not calling double dribbles. They're not calling all the 3 seconds in the lane. They're not doing this kind of stuff. But for one of those guys to actually be used to a game like that and then go into a sport that every rule you're under a microscope. Like that says something. I don't know how long he played. Couldn't have been that long.
I think he played just like a handful
2 or 3
of years.
seasons, maybe.
I mean, it was maybe a little bit longer than that, but like he didn't play like super long.
Yeah. Who do we know who he played for?
He got drafted by the Bucks.
Maybe. Yeah. Doesn't matter. And then a team was willing to take a chance on him or whatever. I think you would call that too, because he was the only one that made the crossover. Listen, nobody in the NBA is going to play for and one. Those guys are trying to get to the NBA.
I mean,
it's the other way around, but they're probably trying to get there more so for the payday than anything else.
I'm going to be honest. I think there's a lot of basketball players that if they went to like play at an and one game would get embarrassed playing that game. It's no different than like a regular college football player going to play a pro game. Like it's a different sport, right? And so there's different rules. And NBA players they're a little bit protected by the rules that they have because it's like, well, you can't travel.
Yeah.
You can't bounce it off my head. That's traveling.
Right.
But in and one, you can, right? And to that point, you've seen where like Kyrie does Uncle Drew and goes and plays and one. Kyrie is a really great example of the influence of and one.
Yeah.
And his handles and way he handles the basketball. I could be totally biased on this, but I don't know if there's anybody that handles a basketball the way Kyrie handles a basketball. His body, his arm length.
I would agree with that.
I mean, he just like you could say, all kinds of basketball players have great handles.
He's the best dribbler we know.
I think currently, I think that just at least currently, like the way he just has a good body shape for exactly what he does.
Right.
Because when you see him kind of like cross over stuff like that, it's like his hands and his arms are right where they need to be. There's no struggle.
Yeah.
When someone has really long arms or short legs or vice versa or whatever, or they're really tall, they're going to struggle.
Physics come into play here.
It's like you ever seen a guy that just has the perfect build to do a deadlift?
Yeah, yeah.
Just like his arms are just long enough to get his hips in the
legs
right.
aren't too long.
Legs aren't too long, and you're like, who's like that is my guy Gene.
Oh,
I mean, I remember
we just deadlift all day.
Yeah, I remember we'd go work out, and just Gene had this body shape where his arms were just long enough, his legs were just long enough that he could get in this really, and he would just boom, it would snap.
Yeah.
But if your arms are too long or your legs are too short or vice versa, or your torso is short or long, it makes a big difference on how your deadlift works. Even to the point where you go, is it worth me deadlifting? Am I sacrificing something to deadlift that I'm really not going to get what I need to get out?
Is this dumb? What am I doing?
Could I get it from somewhere
yeah.
else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Should I just be squatting here? Am I a better squatter than a deadlifter? Does this make sense?
Do you know? Okay, so this is not like a question like I know more than you. This is like just if I said the term transverse deadlift, do you know what that means?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, this is my new favorite exercise. We'll go over it another time. But when I think about like injury and how my body moves and how I want to be better, Gene is actually the one that showed me this exercise. And I don't know if I call it a transverse deadlift. That's what he called it. I don't know what it's called. It might be called something else, but it's like, it has become a staple of what I do because it is exactly like how we hurt ourselves. Right. So it's a eccentric motion, a transverse motion with an eccentric like pull, right? Where like, it's like you're fighting against a negative.
Sure.
And then and it puts you in an awkward position.
Got it.
Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Eastern? Yes, I think that is.
Eccentric is the negative.
Yes, that is the negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a transverse motion. Gene, you'll have to confirm this. Anywho,
we can get Gene over here to demo this real quick.
Well, you know what? It's funny. Is like Gene, my guy Gene, love this dude, a loyal fan, listens to all of them, so he's gonna hear us. So now you got to come on the podcast because we're like basically.
Why has he never been on the podcast?
He's not that type of dude.
It's not his thing.
Nah. And I respect that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of really good friends that I would love to do this, but like, it's not their bag. And so like, I don't push them, but like a lot of those friends are really like loyal listeners and like really supportive of me. So like, I can't complain. So
he should still come show us the deadlift though.
Yeah. Did you have a good time, bro?
Fun, man.
This is fun, dude.
A lot of fun. Like and what I liked was that it wasn't just like, who's your guy? Who's my guy? Like our reasoning transferred over into a lot of everyday life stuff.
Well, it's kind of like we talked before that like, it's the ability to like have conversations about things, right? So like, even while we're talking about this, we're talking a little bit about like people that are different races, people that come from different places. Like, how do you be politically correct?
Choir boys.
Yeah. How do you be politically correct about what you're saying and stuff like that? Being aware of other people around you and how they feel, trying not to be, to try to have a real conversation, but not be offensive. And so it's weird kind of how that works.
Well, and I think a lot of time too, like everyone is so like, I don't even know if it's sensitive, but they're just so ready to call somebody out on saying the wrong thing. Oh, you can't say that anymore. Well, you don't tell me what I can say because you don't know what I meant. Well, you can't say that because it's interpreted this way or not. I get it. But at the same time, ask the next question.
Well, so to your point earlier, ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't assume, don't accuse. Like ask a question.
If you're confused, if you don't know, ask a question about it. Like
if someone says something super aggressive like that, go like, well, why do you feel that way? Like instead of just like, I'm not going to say nobody wants to be set straight, but nobody wants to be called an asshole either. You know what I mean? And when unless you have that relationship with that person and you go to point out something they're doing wrong, you're basically saying like, you're an asshole.
Sure.
Like, why are you an asshole? That's what you're saying. Right. And so there's a much better way to approach that to have a productive conversation. It's like if you'd said fucking, I don't know, some fucking Dallas Maverick fucker that I don't like. If you were like,
who do you not like? Porzingis.
I don't like.
Nobody liked him.
Let me tell you why I don't like Porzingis. It's because I'm a secret.
I
Knicks,
didn't like Porzingis.
I'm a secret Knicks fan. Like I like Knicks basketball. I've watched a lot of Knicks. They were big when I was a kid. Went to a lot of finals. Conference finals. So I love like kind of Patrick Ewing and stuff like that. So when like, you're a secret Knicks fan and my favorite player probably of all time is really Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
He goes to the Knicks and Porzingis is coming. We got J.R. Smith. He's going to shoot lights out, fucking on fire.
Right.
And then like just everything goes to hell in a fucking handbasket and they ship Porzingis out. And, and then you go, well, the Knicks didn't get a horrible deal on that trade because nothing's really panned out in Dallas.
Nothing.
But also like, what would have been if he would have stayed in New York? Would have been different? Would they have used him differently, or was he already done in New York, or whatever it was?
I don't. He didn't want to be a 7'3" guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
He wanted to be Jason Williams,
right? He wanted to be.
Speaking of cornrows, I think he had cornrows like when he was. You have to look that up.
Probably did.
I think he did.
He went from like a mop head to like a buzz cut to. Like probably cornrows at some point in there. I
think there's some picture of him in like younger. Like,
so why did you not put Carmelo on your list? Had to have crossed your mind. My two favorite players are on the list.
I really don't know.
Like, was it a thought process, or he just wasn't?
It would be like, okay, so like some of my favorite players of all time, a lot of them are scorers. Like, I mean, I think a lot of people lean towards offensive kind of players because it's easy. But like, I love Tracy McGrady, Carmelo, Jordan, Dominique. I love Dominique as a kid. And I just don't really think, Tracy McGrady changed I would say Vince.
They had nothing to do with changing basketball.
They didn't influence basketball in that way. And you could say that Carmelo was overshadowed by Chris Paul, LeBron, and stuff like that. But they were just, I mean, from what I can tell, Carmelo's kind of my spirit animal. That's the way I would be if I was I would be that basketball. James Harden is kind of my spirit animal. That's kind of the basketball player I'd probably be. Not you could say good or bad, but like I would be deceptively slow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so once again, like, you find these things you like about people and you go, well, that's kind of my guy because I like this about him. You like Luka because like, he's a big point guard that's young, understands basketball, isn't scared of the moment. You know what I mean? There's all these kind of things to like about him. And so then you're just drawn to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some people just have that superstar potential, but I just didn't think Melo or McGrady, like, I just didn't think they had influence in that way. I mean, on some level, I think Rafer Alston had more influence than probably a lot of those guys.
Well,
because you talk about how you change the game. Like Allen Iverson changed the game.
Right.
Jordan changed the game. Like these are some of the obvious, but like there's all these little nuances of the game. Like if you talk about Steven Jackson, maybe opening the door so they made allow those guys to use cannabis a little bit more freely just because of what he went through. You know what I mean?
Why? This is a tangent. Why is there? Can most people agree that NBA basketball is dominated by black dudes?
I think if you knocked out the percentages of it, I think that the majority of guys would be black.
And
I think that's
the
a fair
best
statement.
basketball players also too. The majority of the best. Take the top 75 or 50 list. Most of them are black dudes.
I would think so.
In the same way that maybe you make that same list of golfers.
Fair example.
And the best golfer of my generation is still a black dude.
Yeah.
But it's dominated by white guys.
Right.
Or, sprinkle in some European guys in there, some Spanish guys in there, whatever. But like, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But
I think
does Tiger Woods give young black kids the same type of hope that Larry Bird, Dirk, Luka are giving young white kids in their respective sports?
I think that that would be possible, but on some level, Michael Jordan's the person that changed that. I mean, find me somebody. I mean, I know there is, but find me someone on the planet that doesn't like Michael Jordan, that liked basketball and didn't like Michael Jordan,
or look up to him, respect him, like
or
I want to
be him.
I want to be like Mike. That was a slogan,
right?
That
wasn't like I want to be black like Mike. That was like I want to be like Mike. That was every kid on the planet.
Yellow,
red,
green.
It didn't matter, right? And so basketball. kind of.
How many people don't want to play golf like Tiger Woods?
I mean, I would want to play golf like Tiger Woods.
If you're like,
if I'm gonna play golf,
if you're gonna play golf and you're like, hey, you know what? This may not be who you choose, but I'm going to give you the same type of golf ability that Tiger Woods has. Are you going to say no to that?
I mean, I'm not.
Nobody is.
Let me ask you this though: you're a dude, but you can play tennis like Serena
all day, every day.
Killing
no
it.
question.
Just murdering
because
people.
Serena's better than all the tennis players I know, men, women that I know.
I mean,
and probably most of the ones, like.
I would love for her to for her to retire and then like go, okay, I'm gonna play some dude, and just see, like, just
right.
I mean, like, right. Just for charity or something, like, you know what I mean, like, what's his face, Andy Kaufman played Billie Jean King or whatever that was, right, or something like that.
And what happened?
I think he lost, right?
He lost.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked.
But like, so if you look at like, on a much different level, the sport of CrossFit, like, I'm not better than the worst girl at the CrossFit games.
Yeah,
they're better.
She's kicking your ass.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there may be some lifts where I can lift more than her, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not about one lift. It's about the entire thing.
Right.
So, yes, the answer to the Serena question is, I could only hope that somebody would, if I'm going to play tennis and you said, I'm going to give you the abilities, not of Agassi or Sampras or all these guys, Djokovic or whoever's good now, but like, you'll be like, Serena, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll take it all day, because anywhere I'm going to play golf or to play tennis, I'm winning.
Right.
And it's more fun to win than it is to lose.
Always.
Sorry. Or maybe you hate to lose more than you enjoy to win.
I feel like I've asked this before. Like, which do you hate losing more? Wait, do you love winning more or hate?
I hate losing more than I love winning.
I think I asked that like a little survey like on social media, and like I was surprised like how many people like hated losing, like what percentage of people hated losing. It was. Do you love winning or hate losing?
73-9 Warriors from a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
They not remembering all 73 wins, but they probably remember most of those 9 losses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, especially when
maybe not each individually, but
especially when you're making history.
Yeah.
Like you're like, well, all these 9 games could have gone like a different direction.
And how many of those games did they barely lose? Did they lose by some kind of, were there any of them by controversy or whatever? I don't know. But yeah.
Never mind. We don't have anybody.
Yeah. Look it up. Damn. Still.
Well, my man, I appreciate you doing this and coming back in.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, and
always fun.
Yeah, and we'll pick something else, and we'll just do another subject. We'll just have a whole section of us just doing subjects of like, I don't know,
just obscure things,
obscure, influential
movies
or whatever.
Influential, listen, and we even got into other sports. So I have one more question.
Sure.
One more question, and it goes back to the same thing I just asked. Like, okay, cool. Golf is mostly dominated by white dudes. Okay. Right. Basketball mostly dominated by black dudes. Are those the only 2 sports? Because you think baseball, it's pretty equal down the line. I listen, maybe there's going to be some stat checker out here, fact check me and blow me up about this, but I don't think baseball is dominated by one race or the other, white, black.
I would say
whatever.
Excuse me, baseball. If we're talking about the 3 American sports, like just the 3 American sports, I guess you can include hockey as like our 4 major sports, possibly soccer is like bringing it on. Baseball is probably one of the more inclusive sports because there's people from the Dominican Republic, they're from Puerto Rico, they're from Mexico, they're from everywhere, they're from Canada, blah, blah, blah. And like, for a sport that like really is stagnant as far as like making progression as a sport, like as an entertainment value sport, it's very diverse. And I always wonder like how are those clubhouses? Because like having friends that play basketball in the NBA and saying that like the majority of the guys on the team are probably African American or black, right? Like you're kind of insating yourself into that. Sure. Right now, golf would be like because you don't like. It's not a team sport, right? But like in baseball, like that clubhouse, like, I mean, there's all kinds of dudes in there.
Exactly.
And they have to all some of them don't even speak English. Like some of them,
Ohtani.
Look
at this guy.
They have to have a translator. It was like when like Yao Ming had to have a translator for his like first like 4 or 5 years in the NBA. And so it's like How do you make that locker room work?
Well, and you mentioned baseball, like super stagnant. Like, I point the finger at the crackdown on roids as when it became like not fun to watch anymore. Like, somebody tell me that the McGuire Sosa race was not entertaining. Somebody tell me that Bond's going for when he hit 70 or whatever, 73, when he broke the record again, wasn't entertaining. And there's going to be haters out here that are, I'm not saying like he deserves more recognition than somebody Hank Aaron, who did it clean, but I want to be entertained.
I think
I want to be entertained. I want to see. I don't want to see. Would you rather see a game, a pitcher throw a perfect game, or would you rather see a game with a lot of home runs?
I mean, if I was watching on TV, I'd probably rather see a perfect game. But if I'm at the game, I want to see home runs, right? You know what I mean?
I can appreciate a perfect game much more because it just doesn't happen, or even a no hitter, right? But still, like, I came for the bombs, dude.
Yeah.
I came for the home runs. I came for like, I didn't come to see a pitching duel or shutout. I want to see these guys hit the ball, and I want to see great defensive plays. I want to see people rob home runs. I want to see people fly into the stands. This is maybe the next podcast or whatever.
Let me end with this statement. I think baseball's problem is they've had too many stoppages in play. They've had too many times where they couldn't get their shit together, and they would go on strike. I mean, I think it's happened like twice at least, right? Mm-hmm. And then, you add in,
they were
like,
about to do it last year.
Well, you end up with
this year.
These the steroid stuff, and their sport just it's had all these hiccups that, like, kind of football and basketball somehow kind of missed. You know what I mean? And I don't know why.
Is it too corporate? I don't know. I know the MLB, the NFL, NBA. These are businesses from the top down.
Let me tell you the problem. There's 162.
Too many games, man.
Well, but you can't pay people $500 million over 10 years if you don't have 162 games.
There's no way to do it. There's two.
So that level of greed. Let me ask you something. So the team's going to pay you. You're trying to get your $500 million 10-year contract. Okay, you're on your first contract. Okay, and you're trying to get 10 years, $500 million.
Okay,
and I'm ball boy Joe, and I'm like, hey, I got this shit in the back. Inject it in your ass. You're gonna have huge muscles, crash home runs. You'll get that $500 million easy. You do it. Let me tell you something. That's what Alex Rodriguez did, and that guy. I mean, I don't know if you know Alex Rodriguez's life, but he paid that small little penalty, like, when he played for the Yankees, and then he married Jennifer Lopez, and then, like, he just went on to MLB Network, and nobody gives a shit, and that guy's still rich.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, was it? I mean, his only qualm would be, do I not get into the Hall of Fame? Now let me ask you: is it really going to matter? Because the guy, he won a championship with the Yankees, right?
Why is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame?
Because he gambled,
right? But that is even more ridiculous than this to me. Like, everybody gambles now.
I think
so. Just how many games is he going to miss? Because
that one cat that played for Atlanta,
football,
that wide receiver, he missed the whole season.
He missed the whole season. And then you got Deshaun Watson over here. I missed 3 games. But I mean, I know it's now
he's going to miss
like 11 or 12, I think, this year. But that was not originally the consequence or whatever, right? Well, this other one came out. We're like, wait a minute, we can't suspend this guy for a whole season for betting on a game, but this guy who's got 24 counts of sexual abuse over here or whatever it was.
So to get to the point of like baseball, if football doesn't catch up with this stuff and get on top of it, now you're talking about now they're going to have some problems.
Yeah.
And if I mean, they're probably so big and so powerful that they'll never have to worry about the loss of viewership. Like, when the whole Kaepernick thing went down and people were like, I'm not going to watch football. I don't know about you, but when football debuted this year, like, I mean, it was like Christmas. Every social media is like football, football, football. So, like, for everybody that was like not going to watch football because of Colin Kaepernick kneeling, I guess they came back around. Like, I mean, because like
they're back around. People are watching now again.
Because I mean, it's a juggernaut. As I heard someone say, it's the one live event that we really all tune in for on some level. Super Bowl. I mean, it's one of those things you're going to see live. You're not going to DVR unless you're just.
How many baseball games are you watching? Is it zero? It's zero.
This is what I watch. I watch a baseball game like every once in a while. I watch it when I go to games and when the playoffs start.
Right.
And I'll only watch the playoffs if the Astros are in it.
So for the most part, you're not watching baseball.
No, and baseball is one of the last sports that's really regional. Like, so like if you live in Boston, you watch the Red Sox, but nobody's watching that shit down here unless they're from Boston.
Right.
So baseball has a problem around that, right? You know what I mean? And it also makes their product very not steady.
When you can only watch a game on Sundays versus when you can pretty much watch not even a game, but a sport on one day of the week. Versus you can watch baseball. You can turn on the TV and watch, or the internet and watch baseball anytime you want to.
You hear something wild?
Every night of the week.
I know 3 people that watch every Astros game. And then now they'll go, it'll be on the background while they're doing other things, which is how you watch baseball.
They're keeping track of every game.
Yeah, but they are like, they have like a package to watch the Astros.
They paid extra money to be able to watch these games.
Yes.
Do you do that with basketball?
Nope.
I do.
No, but I mean, I think that's understandable.
You can't. So listen, regional basketball down here, like if you're on Fox, it's not even Fox Southwest anymore. It's like a Valley or something like that. You're getting San Antonio or you're getting Houston. Right. Mostly San Antonio.
Right.
I don't care about that. I need to watch Dallas. So I pay for the NBA package during the season so I can watch the games. And I'll try to do that with the Mavericks.
It's not that
I keep track with every Mavericks game that happens.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't. But I guess my interest in sports is a lot more general. Like I'm just interested in sports. And so I don't ever watch, like I kind of watch what's on. So like it's like the national championship game will come on. There's a World Series game on. There's a football game on.
You were aware of the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Mostly like, because of Serena's probably exit or whatever. Out of it, and so like, you're now aware of it.
So I might like watch the replay or like something like that. But I just like sports in general.
Same.
And so like, I keep up like on my phone with when the Astros win and lose, when the Rockets win and lose, stuff like that. But I don't watch like every single game.
Are you going to watch a certain football team every Sunday? Or are you just going to watch football?
Used to.
Who are you going to follow?
I used to, and then our quarterback decided to sexually harass like 24 women and get traded to another team. So like now I'm just like, well, I don't know what I'm going to watch.
Watch the Cowboys.
Let me tell you, I don't miss a Cowboys game. And let me tell you why I don't miss a Cowboys game is because I'm always rooting for whoever the other team is to win.
You're Stephen A. Smith, bro.
I mean,
you're Stephen A.
Every game I'm like, let's go Broncos,
dude.
Let's go Packers. Let's go. You know what I mean?
It's funny you said let's go Broncos. That's the game I went to last year.
Yeah.
Guess who they played, and guess who they lost to? Broncos.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, we've already established that you're not good luck.
It's not.
We can go back to that
the last one.
Yeah, we can go back to that koozie up there.
Yeah. I'm keeping up with every Mavericks game and I'm watching every Cowboys game. Outside of that, it's general sports.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Well, man, hey, I appreciate you doing this.
Always.